also means back to Friday Night Football. Get to the game in style in a new Honda from Honda of the Avenues. Their incredible summer clearance event is going on now to make room for the new 2021 models. Find great deals and haul the whole team in a new Odyssey, Pilot, or CRV. Plus, Hondas are safe and reliable, just what you and your team need. Don't miss kickoff. Stop by the Honda Giant on Phillips Highway just a few yards south of the Avenues to see all their inventory, or start looking right now at HondaoftheAvenues.com.
They would be the prohibitive favorite at this point to win the World Series.
Delivers, and this one is hammered to left field by Betts. That's a no-doubter.
Mookie Betts and the Los Angeles Dodgers sit high atop Major League Baseball with the best record in the league. This weekend, they'll welcome Jose Altuve and the Houston Astros. The Dodgers and Astros, Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN, presented by Geico.
Stay tuned. There's a lot to discuss.
It's go time.
Hacker and Durham bring you a daily rundown of all the happenings in the ACC.
A crazy, crazy week in college athletics.
And special guests from all over the sports world.
He goes down in history as one of the great coaches of all time.
I couldn't be more excited to be a part of what is an outstanding basketball tradition.
Hacker and Durham.
We really have a loaded show.
Weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on ACCN and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Football Sunday returns to ESPN Radio. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers begin the defense of their NFC North title against Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Coming up later today, every angle from the Chiefs and Texans kickoff of the 2020 NFL season. Plus, the two best words in sports are back. Game 7, baby, in the NBA bubble. That's all coming up later today. 4 Eastern, Chenangola Jr. on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. Patriots giving a big raise to cornerback Stephon Gilmore, the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, bumping his pay from $10.5 million this year to $15.5 million, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. A spot in the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals and a matchup against the Heat on the line for the Raptors and Celtics tonight. Boston and Toronto face off in Game 7. No team has more Game 7 wins in NBA history than the Celtics with 23. There's one thing in particular they need to do to get number 24, explains ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
Look, the Celtics, all they have to do is outwork them. And it's not just Marcus Smart, it's not just Daniel Tice, it's that entire roster has to go out and outwork the Toronto Raptors. And that's one of the harder things to do, is to outwork that team who prides themselves on their work ethic and are led by one of the hardest workers in the league.
Game 7, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Clippers can advance to the West Final for the first time with a win tonight over the Nuggets in Game 5. Lightning leading scorer Braden Point, undisclosed injury, questionable for Game 3 of the NHL's East Final tonight against the Islanders.
Cover all your bases with Straight Talk Wireless. Get the same networks as big carriers, only pay up to 50% less. Get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Mortno from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. That was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Was he driving a Zamboni?
Yeah, I believe they were Zamboning the courts.
I was like, who just said Zamboning the courts?
Is that what Zamboni?
That's the verb of Zamboniing.
Sure about that?
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks and ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, the home of the Florida State Seminoles in Jacksonville.
Duke goes down to defeat Florida State 79. Duke 74.
The basket lays. Oh, it drops. It
drops with 1.8 seconds to go. Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Throws the pass on the other. It's caught! It's caught! It's caught!
You'll hear Knowles football and men's basketball right here on ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio and the Florida State Seminoles.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane of Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed. If I want to be taken out by a hurricane, I want to be taken out by the biggest, most intimidating hurricane, and that's Bertha. You're not going to say, whoa, here comes Bertha dating Tom Brady. You're going to say, well, there's Bertha at the Golden Corral line pushing people out of the way to get a second helping. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's probably been used in a sentence before. Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, I did it again, Goose. You know that thing where you try to sneak one more thing in? Had to go pick up. This is a good thing, though. Pick up a little silent auction item up from Top Golf.
You got lucky. If it was any longer, I was going to come in and have should I buy the new Xbox debate.
That would be good. Or we got plenty of interviews you could have run.
Yeah, but that's not fun.
So a little late today, and no Austin as backup. But, hey, things got to get done, man. It's Friday. We got a golf tournament, Action Sports Shack Stream 18, coming up Monday. We got football tonight. We got NFL this weekend. And we have Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 right now. We're loaded up on a Friday, as we should be. Let's break down the Colts and the Jags. Let's revisit the Texans and the Chiefs a little bit. Hope you did well in fantasy if you were already playing. I checked my fantasy team, right? I'm like, okay, make sure you start people or fix your lineup, because that's one of the reasons I don't play fantasy, because I forget. I'm like, all right, I have no Kansas City Chiefs. And I said to myself, I'm probably not going to do that well this year. I have no Kansas City Chiefs. Like, shouldn't you have a Chief on your team if you want to do well in fantasy football?
I've kind of noticed you need to have players from good teams to win.
Well, the Chiefs looked pretty good last night. Houston did not. Was it more Houston? Was it more the Chiefs? That's an interesting part of the early part of the season, especially when you're playing good teams, and we know they're good. Like, we know the Chiefs are good. Houston will play Baltimore next week. You talk about tough start. You know, the Jags actually do have a tough start. Indianapolis, I think, is going to be very good. The Titans are going to be good. But those are still teams that you think you can beat. Like, they don't, like, I don't chalk up, oh, boy, those guys are impossible to beat. Now, if the Jags were playing the Chiefs and the Ravens, I would say there's no chance they beat either one of those teams. So, and that's even if the Jags were better than they look on paper. So that's a tough task for Houston. Now, I don't know if it will tell the Houston story completely, but it looks like they'll start with a couple of L's. And you know how I feel about Houston. I think they're going to be bad this year anyway. I think Bill O'Brien won't even make it through the year here in 2020. I think he'll get let go before that somewhere along the way. Brent Martineau here on a Friday. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We'll be joined by Austin Lane a little bit later on, because he is getting ready for a fight. He's got a weigh-in tonight. Fight in Charleston, South Carolina tomorrow. And he'll be in the cage around 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So hopefully he does well there. And we also have a pick segment coming up. It's back. The 6-pack of picks is back. We go mostly NFL. We'll also throw Florida State in there, because Florida State plays tomorrow night, actually tomorrow afternoon, right here on ESPN 690 against Georgia Tech. So that should be good. They're 12.5-point favorites. So we'll see the Mike Norvell era get going and see what they look like. Miami last night, Derek King. I mean, can we stop hyping guys up? I mean, we hyped the heck out of these guys. And did he do much to impress you? Like, were you like, whoa, they got something? It kind of felt like when they got King, you're like, okay, Manny Diaz. But I don't know if he impressed me. I mean, that was a close game in the second half. It's early going. UAB is not terrible, but they're also not very good. I thought Miami would look a little bit better than that, quite frankly. I mean, they scored a 66-yard touchdown on a 4th and 1 from their own 34. They went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 34. So that showed you how things were going a little bit during that game. But they win the game, and it's really hard to put too much of a label on teams in college football or the NFL here in the early going, but at least we get the first look. The Miami Hurricanes tomorrow, the Florida State Seminoles, of course, still a couple more weeks away from the SEC. Doing some work. We're going to talk to Jared Wilson today. I already talked to him, but we're going to play the interview. And it's really got a lot to do with the COVID-19 world that we're living in and they're living in. So as we get ready to embark on a season here in Jacksonville, if you thought we could get here and what the NFL has been able to do, what they're doing to even put fans in, and what they've done to keep players relatively healthy now across the league is pretty phenomenal. And is a big story right now, and it should be a big story. So Jared Wilson, we caught up with him recently about the COVID-19 and how the players are handling it and dealing with it. So we'll share that interview with you. Well, yesterday we talked about Dak Prescott and about Skip Bayless. Well, the Dak Prescott stuff, where the conversation and the vulnerability about him dealing with depression and mental health and anxiety, and it came from the Graham Bensinger Show, which is a show that plays on Action Sports Jax, Action News Jax, Fox Midnight on Sunday, and it has for years now. It's a syndicated show, and Graham Bensinger gets a bunch of interviews, and his season 11 kickoff interview with Prescott, and that's where this came from. That's how it became such a headline, not just because of what Dak did, and to be able to talk about this stuff and be vulnerable to talk about this stuff, what's going on in his life, what has gone on in his life, but also to share his platform and utilize it that way. But then the Skip Bayless stuff, which I talked enough about yesterday, I'm not going to go back on that soapbox. But Graham Bensinger, I talked to him earlier today about that interview. So we'll have a little bit of that and how that came about, that Dak talked about it, and even his thoughts on Skip Bayless, which were pretty interesting as well. So we'll have that conversation along the way today as well.
Did you ask him about hanging out with Rob Dyrdek?
I did not.
All right.
Bensinger in himself is somebody that we talk about a lot down in our sports office because we run teases in our Action Sports Jax primetime show, and he's always got this guest on it. We're like, how does he get these guys on? Like, it's not, seriously, it's, with all due respect to him, he's not necessarily a household name because you don't see him on the ESPN day in, day out. He doesn't have like a radio show. He's a weekly guy that kind of is a little bit of a throwback in the sense of long-form interviews and a weekly show that is syndicated. I mean, it's really more of an older school in the business type of thing that he's done over the last decade or so, and he's done very well at it, and he's extremely young. He's been doing this 11 years, and he's 34. You do the math. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So one of the questions I asked him was like, how the heck do you get these interviews? And it's really interesting response. So we'll have some of that conversation along the way. Austin will join us. Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber will join us. We're not alone, Coos, is what I'm getting at. We're just not alone here today. Coming up tonight, by the way, we've got a ton of football coverage. We've got the show here until 6 o'clock. At 6:50, Stuart Weber will be live at, I think, Baldwin High School is where he's going to be this week for high school football. At 7 o'clock, we have a Jags preview show on TV on CBS 47. At 7 o'clock, it's an hour long. And I think you're going to like it. I hope you're going to like it. The guys put a lot of work in on it. Then at 9 o'clock tonight, we debut a new show, the Blitz Scoreboard Show, all about high school football. 1 hour. That's it. 9 to 10. We'll take you around the area. We'll give you scores and also update you on the finishes of games, which can be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. We're trying it tonight, and we're going to try it all fall long. And then that leads right into the Friday Night Blitz at 10:30 and 11:20 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. So we have a full slate of things on a Friday. So let's take a break, and we'll kick it off. The Jags and Colts. Yesterday, I did the roadmap for success in 2020. How about specifically against the Colts? What will the Jags do? Can they do? Can they beat the Indianapolis Colts? Because on paper, let's be honest now, you wouldn't check many boxes in favor of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is there something hidden we're missing? And how do they win this game Sunday and start off 1-0? Because it would be something if this team could steal one of the first two games. They're going to be underdogs in every game this year, but if they could get one of the first two games, that would be very nice for this young football team. And I think this is the better chance to get the one against Indy than it is to get the one against Tennessee. We'll give you the latest in the sports world, but we talk Jags when we come back. Jags and Colts Sunday at 1 o'clock right here in Jacksonville, and all the conversation about it. How do the Jags win this game? Coming up next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few showers developing closer to the coast and advancing inland through the day and into the afternoon. A few locally heavy downpours and thunderstorms well inland this afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 80s to near 90. A lingering coastal shower tonight with overnight lows in the mid-70s. With your first alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beard's unbeatable deals.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Nobody gives back like Diamonds Direct. That's right, it's back. Our most popular offer, 5 years, 0 interest financing. September is the time to buy at Diamonds Direct. Get the best price, plus spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And every purchase made in September will benefit No Kid Hungry's mission to end childhood hunger right here in our community. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give at Diamonds Direct on approved credit. Visit diamondsdirect.com for details.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Brent Martineau.
Daniel says, we went from hot Cheetos to shampoo, raising the intellectual portion of the show.
Austin Lane.
I'm wearing a sleeveless t-shirt. What more do you want from us, man?
It's Friday.
We never said we're intellectual.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Yeah, I think, we've been talking with the players, and, I've talked about, what message they want to get out there. And I think, we'll have that prepared, obviously between now and game time. So again, I understand that. I did not see the actual start of the game last night because I was busy, and then I wound up putting the game on later. But I think anytime you can, show unity, in these times, or where people can come together peacefully, and I think that makes us stronger.
That's head coach Doug Marrone talking about some of the events. I'm sure was asked about the beginning of the game against Kansas City Chiefs, and the Jaguars will have several things going on Sunday, from players to coaches to musicians to obviously in the end zone. It will say "It takes all of us" and "End racism." That's across the National Football League. So the social injustice initiatives continue. The message continues to be shared throughout the NFL. And that was the case last night. And what got the headlines is there was booing as the Houston Texans and Chiefs joined hands and arms, really interlocked arms, for a show of unity. I mean, what are we doing? That draws boos? Interlocking arms of a show of unity? Like, are we that misplaced in our beliefs and views and interpretation more than anything else? Like, you can really say to somebody, hey, we would like to show a sign of unity. No, boo. I mean, are you serious? Like, where does that come from? I mean, gosh, the look in the mirror sometimes I think some of us have to make, it can be a long one. I don't get that. I was shocked. I guess I'm not surprised, right? Even though we know it's not about the flag, and there's been these conversations. If there's players kneeling, are some people not going to take to that? I think that's true. I think whether they're not going to watch, whether they're not going to cheer, whether they might boo, I think we've braced ourselves for that if we're being real. Interlocking arms before a game to show unity gets boos? Sheesh. I don't get that, man. I don't get that. That's a hard one to explain to me. That's a hard one to justify. I mean, come justify that one to me. I don't know if you can. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens here in Jacksonville. It will be a storyline. It will be a storyline this weekend. And, these sports organizations are braced for the storyline. They have said, hey, we're all in on this. We've seen it with the NBA. We'll see it with the NFL. And we'll see the ratings that come out. And there's already some folks, I think the ratings were down a bit last night from last year, which that's one game. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's people aren't watching. I don't know if it's the beginning of the game. I mean, we don't know. We'll see when we get more of a sample size. Could it be because it's really the Houston Texans? And quite frankly, not a lot of people care about the Houston Texans. I don't think, even though they're a big market. And it's the Chiefs, who, by the way, are a popular team and a good team to watch, but they also are not a big market. Like, this was not, the Rams don't even make a lot of sense in this vein, I don't think. But this was not Chicago against New England, right? This wasn't the Giants against Dallas. I mean, those are massive fan bases that draw a lot of eyes. I would say, ratings-wise, outside of Kansas City, not a lot of people are, like, locked into the Chiefs, even though they've been very good. And I know that's the fact with Houston. I mean, Houston definitely isn't a national brand team. So could it be just that? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe they're down a little bit. We'll see what happens. What about here in Jacksonville? We'll see how the pregame things go, the acknowledgement of all that's going on in our world, and then the football. And what about the football? The Colts and the Jaguars. Do the Jaguars have a chance? How do they beat the Indianapolis Colts? And they are 8-point underdogs. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I mean, they probably should be underdogs based on the narrative and looking at the rosters. One of the strengths of this football team for the Jacksonville Jaguars is the offensive line. They think that. Well, they don't have as good of an offensive line as Indianapolis. Nobody in the NFL would say that. They got a chance to prove it on Sunday, but they don't have it. So even one of the strengths of the football team, they don't really check that box that they get the advantage there. Quarterback, obviously, have Phillip Rivers. Boom. Indianapolis. Running game, Indianapolis. Heck, most people can't even name the running backs on Jacksonville right now. Wide receivers, I do think the Jaguars have a little bit of an upper hand here, at least in potential, but they still have to showcase it. And Phillip Rivers is now thrown to those other guys, which certainly helps. Defensively, while I don't think as eye-popping guys, Leonard's a tremendous player, now DeForest Buckner, of course, as well, really anchor that defense. They are a very good defense with a lot of players that might not be superstar players, but they are a very good defense. And the Jaguars right now, if you had to rank their special teams offense defense, which one would be third on the list, you'd put defense. So let's just be honest. Every defensive category essentially goes to the Indianapolis Colts. And that's why you get a game where they're the 8-point favorites, expected really to blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars. And from Vegas's point of view, it makes a lot of sense. It really does, if we're being honest. So how do the Jags trump that, right? How do they beat them? What's the formula? And when we do things like this, as the Jags are underdogs, and they're going to be a lot of the year, the one thing I want to be a little careful and get carried away with is like, well, if they have 4 turnovers for Indianapolis and the Jags have just 1 or none, well, then they got a shot. Well, of course you do. In the NFL, if you turn it over 4 times and the other team turns it over once, well, guess what? I know which team most likely is going to win. I think it goes deeper than that, and it almost doesn't have to be as crazy as that. This is the NFL. Games are going to be close for the most part. The talent gap might be distant on paper, but it probably isn't as distant as we think it is on the field. I think one of the big things to watch for on this game Sunday is what Doug Marrone hopes for. See, when you build a team and when you have a vision of what you want it to look like and what you want to be, I think you better hope what you built around pays off. If you go back to 2017, Jaguars said, we want to be more physical. We want to be able to run the ball. We want to help Blake Bortles out. Well, you know what? They did that. We want to be dynamic on defense. We've got some playmakers on defense. You know what? They did that. If you go back to the last couple of years, they weren't able to do those things. They thought they had it. They thought they were better in those areas than they were, and they weren't. I think there are 2 things the Jaguars think they're better at. Let's just say that, better at than they have been the last couple of years. One is they're more disciplined, so they could play a cleaner football game and the penalties should be down. Let's see if it works. Let's see if they're right. That's what they've built on. That's what you've heard Doug Marrone say and mention at times. The other thing is they believe, despite the attrition on defense, despite some of the players walking out of here, that they are better against the run than they were last year. Now, if you've heard me all offseason, I would say, how could they be worse, even if Kuz and I were out there stopping the run? They were that bad at times last year. But genuinely speaking, I think Todd Wash and Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell and the way they built this thing, and I said a little bit of this yesterday, that every guy, when you ask him about, like, yeah, good against the run, good against the run, good against the run, they tried to button up their assignments and just basic football stuff on defense, which means stopping the run. So we get to find out. So to me, it's like those 2 things. If you want to be good at this and this, or at least better than you were, well, I think that has to show up. And it's a real disappointment if it doesn't show up. If the Jaguars have preached all along, play clean football, no laundry on the field, stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. We go out there on Sunday and we see 12 penalties for 96 yards and this very good offensive line and good running backs, they run for 180 yards. Well, what did we spend all offseason doing is a fair question. So that, to me, is vital. Then you can add all the other stuff in. Sure, turnovers. Can Gardner Minshew and this offense get going? Can the Jags offensive line create some space for James Robinson? Can you convert in the red zone? Can you convert on 3rd down? Can you get off the field? All those things every team talks about. This team talked about playing cleaner football, and they also talked about stopping the run. And if they do that, they feel like they're better off than they were a year ago, no matter who is on the football field. And so I think it is very important for them to do that and showcase that what they preach, what they believe in, is something that came to fruition. And I think game one is going to tell that story. Game one is going to go a long way in telling their story. I think game two is going to be really tough against Tennessee. It hasn't been a good matchup, and it's on the road, and there's all this stuff going on with the protocols. I think that first time on the road is going to be a disadvantage for teams, quite frankly. So maybe that Jags have that going for them this week with Indy coming in. But I think week two is a game I just don't give them much of a chance to win. But if they can win this game, if they can do those things, then they can give you a little hope. And maybe you do those things and you still don't win the game. I still think they have to do some of those things that they've preached to have any confidence going forward. Remember, this is the schedule in the early going now. You have the Miami Dolphins on a Thursday night after these first two difficult games. You also play the Detroit Lions in that stretch and the Cincinnati Bengals before the bye. There are people, if you want to get the sunshine and rainbows out of this, there are people, I bet, in that building looking at that schedule and say, you know what? We can win a few of these games. We think we're good enough to win a few of these games early on. But if the Jags start off 0-2 and an ugly 0-2, I don't care how resilient you think your football team is, that's going to set up some bad momentum against the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Lions, and even Houston is in there. So I think this game goes a long way to really set the tone. And again, I don't necessarily think I'm giving up on the Jags after the first two games of the year if they lose. It's how it looks. It's how they lose. Because they could still, again, when I say giving up on the Jags, I don't have these thoughts, and I know I'm a positive guy, but I don't have these thoughts that I think they're going to playoffs or anything. I'm just saying, how do you feel like you can win and get to 2 or 3 wins by the bye? I wouldn't give up on the Jags if they lost these first 2 games and they lose them by like a possession. But I'd be really hard placed to have any confidence in this football team if they lose 31-10 and then lose 34-14 these first 2 weeks. That is going to be tough if that happens. So I think how this looks for the Jacksonville Jaguars is very important. And sneaking out a win is very important, too. This is the one to get, in my opinion. This one at home against the Colts. Don't give them much of a chance against Tennessee just because of the history of it and the way it's gone until they prove it to us. But then that early part of the schedule, man, the first 6 games, that's where you got to make some hay if you're this Jacksonville Jaguars team and build some confidence and get the young guys involved. And we get to see what these guys have been trying to showcase and talking about. But the biggest thing for me, penalties and stopping the run on Sunday. If you preach you're better in that area, be better in that area. They built this whole offseason about being better in those areas and other ones. But those are the ones that stick out to me. They'll throw in there, by the way, taking care of the football, so don't turn it over. And I get it, but every team says that too. So not every team says, hey, we really got to reduce our penalties and play, just have like 4 penalties a game or whatever it is. Some teams don't mind it. I mean, nobody wants it. Some teams think they can overcome it. We know this team isn't built to overcome 10 penalties in a game. It'll be really interesting to see how it shakes out on Sunday, 1 o'clock for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The other part of this is how are these players on the road and here at home getting set for these games with COVID-19 hanging over with a little bit of a cloud. We talked to Jared Wilson, the Jaguars safety, about that, and that talk is coming up next on ESPN 690. Join the conversation, 904-362-9901, *690 on social media. How can the Jags beat the Colts? That's the story of the day. I have to find a way in about 48 hours. Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show, you missed this. That was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Was he driving a Zamboni during that?
I believe they were Zamboning the courts.
I was like, Coach just said Zamboning the courts.
Is that what Zamboni?
That's the verb of Zamboniing.
Sure about that?
Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David Suryash, Managing Tax Attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
End of summer savings have been extended.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beard's Diamonds. They have the largest selection and the lowest prices. And now with their 5-year zero-interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Yes, save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. It'll be your last chance to take advantage of 5 years, zero interest in 2020.
It's a great time to splurge on that $12,000 3-stone ring and pay just $200 a month.
Impress her with a bigger diamond engagement ring, a $6,000 setting from just $100 a month.
Or how about $3,000 diamond stud earrings, only $50 a month?
Get the absolute lowest prices Beards is known for. 5 years, zero interest is about to end, so hurry.
Beard's Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in. See the difference. Save thousands. I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating, conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida? Nah, it's illegal here, man. But I have PTSD. Should I at least try to get medical marijuana?
That's legal. But if I were you, I'd talk to my doctor about qualifying conditions and to find out if medical marijuana is even right for you.
Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us here on a Friday. Hope you had a good week and get ready to get into the weekend. Short week for some of you because of Labor Day. And it's a football weekend, man. We should all have a little hop in our step. I know the Jags' expectations are low. I get it. But come on, it's football. It's back. There's a little hope still. Keep hope alive. A little sunshine and rainbows. Whatever it takes. Jags and Colts, 1 o'clock on CBS 47 coming up on Sunday. Got a big lineup for you all day long, all weekend long. CBS 47, Fox 30 right here on ESPN 690. Got the Florida State Seminoles tomorrow against Georgia Tech at 3:30. right here on ESPN 690, new home of the Florida State Seminoles. And tonight we debut a high school show as well, 9 o'clock, the Blitz Scoreboard Show. So make sure you check it out. We'll even have some video on that with Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, but also on the airwaves as you're driving home. Check out some of the scores, hopefully some interviews. We'll pop in with some of our guys who are out at games. I'll be out at a couple of games before coming back and hosting the show. So big time Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, busy, but a lot of fun as everything kicks off. And it kind of does feel normal. Like it feels somewhat normal to me. It's football season, even though it comes with a few things we've all had to adjust to. And speaking of adjusting, there has to be such an appreciation across the NFL and inside NFL buildings for what people have done to make this work to this point. I don't think us as fans or even the media, whatever, probably want to really go crazy and say, oh, man, we really appreciate it. We don't want to do that. I think there's a sense of appreciation. We understand it was a tall task. There's a lot that goes into it. We had Chad Johnson on yesterday. He said 200 pages. 200 pages of checklists and protocols to have fans at the stadium on Sunday. I mean, that gives you a great idea of what's going on at the NFL level and the team level to make this happen. And here we are. We've got fantasy football. You can do your picks, and we're going to have a Sunday full of games. It's fantastic. But I think one of the biggest things we have to acknowledge going into the season is the buy-in of the players, at least as of now. That COVID-19 list has been pretty short. It's been remarkable. Had a game last night. We'll see what happens. We got games this weekend. We'll see what happens. But we're about to play, and a big reason why is the players have bought into it. They have got to take care of themselves and others that they're in contact with to be able to play. And here we are on opening weekend of the NFL season. I recently caught up with Jags safety and team captain now, Jared Wilson, about exactly what they're going through with COVID-19. Here's our conversation. Hey, we're hanging out with Jared Wilson, the Jaguars safety, and talking a little bit about COVID-19 and the protocols that the players have to go to. A little day in the life of a player. And boy, that day in the life has certainly changed from years past.
Mainly when it first hit, a couple of days, she was called off. My fiance was called off just due to being so many numbers rising in the hospital. But once she was able to get back in there, mainly just the story she tells me just coming home just about certain patients she may have had affected or are just now coming out of basically COVID protocols and everything like that. And that's just pretty different and unique just due to the whole circumstances. So it's been just real challenging, but like I said, it's the new normal now. So as of right now, just trying to be very, very precautious with everything that's going on around COVID.
I don't think fans and people know kind of what your days are like in a normal world. But what is your day like? What time do you get to the stadium, and how early are you doing that swab test to see if you test negative for COVID-19?
So usually on a typical morning, I get to the stadium around 7:15. And before you enter the building, you must do a quick four question questionnaire, kind of just last 48 hours. Have you had any symptoms or anything of that nature? And then you go right into I don't know what it would be called, the little tent or whatnot, the trailer. And then that's where you do your nasal swab. And it's every single day. even off days as of right now. I don't know if you ever get necessarily used to it, but I'm used to taking one now, and like my nostrils is kind of, they be sore sometimes, but they're kind of really getting used to it. So after that, that's the only way you can enter the building is by having that nasal swab and doing a questionnaire. Then you come in and get your tracker, because you have to have your tracker on at all times just to like see if you're within the 6 feet distance of social distancing that's going on. And from there, mainly it's kind of being masked up at all times within the building, unless we're kind of at practice, they're easy on you. But everything that's indoors, as far as meetings, even going up to lunch or whatnot, kind of always have your mask on, even during workouts, and just try to keep your social distancing as much as possible. That's pretty much the whole gist of it with the COVID and entering in the morning.
I'm sure there's a lot of signage in the buildings, hand sanitizers in the buildings. Just, again, are you getting used to seeing that? Is that just the normal look inside Jags headquarters?
Yeah, it's the norm now. So there are like tons of signs, just kind of like make sure you're wearing your mask at all times, wash your hands. There's a ton of new Purell and hand sanitizer like dispensers around just the building. And yeah, it's kind of, yeah, like you just said, the new normal.
Is there something you miss about normal interaction, what you've experienced in the past that you're not allowed to do here in 2020?
Well, we've yet to really have a true team meeting. Like we can't have that amount of people in one room at one time. So usually team meetings are done virtually, even though we're all in the building, kind of being your own position group room. So definitely like team meeting, just being all together as one is kind of something that I would kind of miss. But it's the new norm with the protocol and everything, and definitely just want to respect it to take care of COVID.
How aware are you every time you take a test? And I don't know if nervous is the right word, anxious is the right word, of waiting until you see if you're positive or negative. Is there an anxiety level amongst players?
I wouldn't say anxiety, but you're just interested in seeing your results. Obviously, you can have COVID and be like asymptomatic or have a ton of symptoms. So really just the guys that don't have any type of symptoms, you just kind of may be curious about whether you have it or not. But as long as you don't get a text or a notification from the doctors, you're all good. So I haven't got one, and plenty of players haven't. We've had guys go on the list, but yeah, knock on wood, no one have it. So we've been pretty good.
Are you amazed at how well it's going inside? I don't know if the bubble is the right word, but certainly the protocols that the NFL and the players have agreed upon.
I'm not amazed, but it's just like kind of the expectation. If you want to have a football season, you got to change and bend some things just due to this, because it is a pandemic. So for us to have like a season and a productive season that we want, you must acclimate to the changes of COVID. And mainly just, even though it's not a typical like how the NBA has a bubble, I mean, for the most part, I just go to work and come home and go home. So like just try to stay in my own little bubble myself. And I suspect like a lot of players are just doing that just due to the nature and the circumstances of COVID and how you can just be in contact with it anywhere because you don't know where it's at.
Yeah, lastly, I was going to say that, I mean, how much of a buy-in has to be on your part as a player? You got to trust your teammates kind of to live in your own little bubble, because you're not staying sequestered in a hotel or anything like that, which would normally be in camp.
Yeah, I think it's just the responsibility of us all just to protect ourselves, because we don't want to infect someone or come in contact with it. So just being a pro really, and just understanding the circumstances is definitely different, but you got to make changes if you definitely want to play football this season. And I think we're doing a good job.
I lied to you. I'm going to ask you one more. How much did you think about opting out? And are you glad you didn't opt out now that you're living in this world?
It's not like I really considered opting out, you know what I mean? But it's just, you take everything into consideration due to the circumstances, but didn't want to opt out, not going to opt out, and wish I would not. I don't think I wish I would have opted out or anything like that. I'm definitely just suited up and ready to roll. Just getting back to the swing of things and just happy to be out there back with my boys.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your time. Thanks for walking through it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Be well.
You too.
it's tremendous buy-in. Jared Wilson, by the way, voted a captain. What a story he's becoming. Been around for years now, but played every snap last season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And while you don't consider him a star and you're really like, whatever, it's kind of that. It's kind of a whatever guy, if you will, from a fan, I think, in an outside world perspective. He is a vital part of that group. And his consistency, I think, is something the coaches love being there, but also knowing that defense and doing what you're supposed to do instead of freelancing, which a lot of those guys that are no longer there did. But I think maybe most importantly, along with DJ Hayden, he becomes a veteran voice in the room. Like we say DJ Hayden's name, but Jared Wilson is a veteran in that secondary where we've got a lot of young guys. So he is an important part of that. And I think it showed a lot of respect that voted the captain this year on the defensive side of the ball, along with guys like Josh Allen and Miles Jack. Talk more about the Jags coming up in a little bit. We're going to talk Dak Prescott. And talk to the person who interviewed Dak Prescott that got everybody buzzing the last couple of days. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Talk a little bit about Houston and Kansas City right now, though. Is Kansas City really good again? And the answer to that is yes. But are they so good that they make teams like Houston potentially look bad? Or is Houston bad? That's kind of the curiosity coming out of last night's game where 34-20 was the final score. And
hey, let's welcome in right now Graham Bensinger. He has the show
DeAndre
In Depth
Hopkins,
with
it looks
Graham
like Deshaun Watson missed him. Are they throwing to a bunch of guys that, like we've said all offseason, Bill O'Brien's built a roster that if you go back 3 years ago, would look pretty darn good. But what have you done for me lately? And the answer is not much. From Randall Cobb. David Johnson actually did look good. Didn't do much last year, of course, but he did look good. And Will Fuller hasn't been able to do anything consistently. And so it's a lot on Deshaun Watson. And quite frankly, how good did that offensive line look? I mean, Kansas City's defense has some players. Kansas City's defense gets put in pretty good spots. And there's a lot of pressure on the opposing team's offenses. But that offensive line for Houston was supposed to be improved. Obviously, Laramie Tunsil's making $22 million or whatever he's getting. And it looked like Deshaun Watson didn't have a lot of time. So I'm not going to be here after game one and telling you I told you so. But I think these first 2 weeks are going to be really hard to judge the Houston Texans again. And I said at the show, you play the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, you got a chance to get throttled, and you get a chance to still be halfway decent football team. Just weren't ready for that coming out of the gates. So I don't to make of them right now coming off that first game. We'll see what happens. I think that goes across the league. Like, are we truly going to get – that's kind of the NFL in reality. You have so many teams that – look at the Jags in 2018. They were 3-1. Everybody's like, okay, book your Super Bowl tickets. This team's back. It's a 2-year run, and then boom, 9 in a row. 9 losses in a row. Jaguars were, 4-4 going to London this year? And then all of a sudden couldn't stop anybody and got blitzed. Houston, Indy, Tennessee, and looked so bad doing so. And I think it was a 5-game losing streak last year. And it's like you didn't really see that coming. You didn't necessarily see a Super Bowl run coming, but you didn't see that coming. And so the NFL is kind of like that. It's a month. They say week to week, but the trends go kind of month to month, and even first half of the year, second half of the year. Who gets hot, who gets injured, are all big parts of it. So I think it's a little bit early if you're in Houston to panic, but I don't like what I saw if I'm in Houston. I love what I saw if I'm Kansas City because I think I saw a stat. It was Peter Schrager from Good Morning Football. That had a stat, or I think this was before the game, that Mahomes had 27 touchdowns and no interceptions in September the last 3 years. I mean, talk about a guy who starts fast, and I think he threw 3 touchdowns last night, so that's 30. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, they look like a well-oiled machine.
I don't know how he can throw those footballs that he does where he's like falling backwards, but he'll throw like 20, 30-yard passes just in the right spot. I'm like, I don't understand how you were able to do that. Your whole momentum's going backwards.
That's really the brilliance of him, is the off-schedule stuff that people can't do kind of thing. That's what makes him who he is. That's what made him a $500 million guy. A lot of people can throw the football. A lot of people have arm strength. A lot of people could play in that system with that many weapons. But there are still plays that you scratch your head. Like, wow, this looks easy for him. It looks easy for him. And Edwards-Helaire, I said this somewhere earlier today. You got to give Kansas City credit. They know what they're looking for, and they're convicted about it. They wanted Mahomes. They thought he was great. They were right. He was great. They went and got him. They traded up for him, even though they had Alex Smith. Edwards-Helaire, everybody in the draft, around the draft said, hey, this is a fit for Kansas City. Kansas City, they go get him. They take him. Why? Because it's a smart move. It's a perfect fit. There's a lot of running backs that could look good in Kansas City, but it just seems like a perfect fit for the Chiefs. You got to give their front office credit, man. They have done a good job. It's not just Patrick Mahomes, not just Andy Reid. Their scouting staff has done a brilliant job over the years. When we come back, Dak Prescott and the man who interviewed him and how the interview went viral, what he had to say about the criticism of it. That's all coming up next on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting. That's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jags Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jagscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
At Diamonds Direct right now, there's nothing standing in your way of owning that magnificent piece of jewelry. Nothing. No down payment and no finance charges for 5 whole years. People are driving for hours to do this. On any purchase, just take that amazing Diamonds Direct price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. It's a smart way to buy. Keep your money in your pocket and still get that amazing ring or band or bracelet, even that bigger diamond. 5 years, 0 interest on any purchase on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Off Town Center Parkway. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
Are you ready for a new ride? Then your wait is over. It's the Today's the Day sales event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Today's the day for you to drive away from Arlington one really happy customer in your brand new Toyota. That's because you'll get 0% for 60 months on all new 2020 Camrys, Corollas, and RAV4s. 0%. How about getting a new Toyota Plus, no payments for 90 days? Today's the day because that's exactly what you'll get at Arlington. And did I mention 2 years of free maintenance? Yes. Today's the day you get your new Toyota at Arlington plus 2 years of free maintenance. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. Today is most definitely the day to get the Toyota you really want at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. Today is the day for full details. I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Guys, and you know, we love playing basketball with each other. We love making each other better. So yeah, I know we'll respond. You know, we're going to come out and play hard again.
Celtics guard Kemba Walker. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports last year's Defensive Player of the Year. Patriots corner Stephon Gilmore gets a $5 million raise just before the season opener. His base salary goes from $10.5 million to $15.5 million. The Falcons will honor late civil rights leader John Lewis by making him the team's honorary captain for Sunday's opener against the Seahawks. Lewis died in July. It's men's semifinal day at the U.S. Open. Live coverage underway right now on ESPN. First match, Pablo Carreño Busta against Alexander Zverev.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Graham Bensinger, he has the show In Depth with Graham Bensinger, and you've been able to watch it on CBS 47 and Fox 30 really for the last few years now, and all across the country. Maybe in your travels you've seen it, a syndicated show across the United States, and his travels have brought him all across the globe. Very interesting show. Graham Bensinger's really made a name for himself, and he joins us via Zoom because that's what we do now. And you're starting your 11th season coming up Sunday night, by the way, on Fox 30 here at midnight following Action Sports Jacks primetime in Jacksonville. How challenging was this season number 11, in this kind of world, the pandemic?
Challenging to say the least. Thankfully, we're in the early days of taping episodes for this new season, but the tail end of last season, we were the first week of March, we were in Serbia for a couple days with Novak Djokovic. We flew from there to Dallas to tape Tony Romo. We got back March 9th. The NBA postpones its season March 11th, and we had a couple more episodes to tape still that season, so we ended up doing them over Zoom. And admittedly was not sure what to expect coming into this season because we predicate ourselves on access. We're often with the people in their homes, and nobody's supposed to be together. So I ended up securing COVID tests. I require myself, our team, to test negative for COVID twice in the 2 days leading up to an episode taping. And we have found that makes the people we're interested in profiling a lot more open to giving us the access we're used to getting. So we've been off and running the past couple months, taping season 11.
Very good. That makes a lot of sense. Everybody's got challenges in adapting. You guys are doing the same thing. And you're going to kick off the season with Dak Prescott, $34 million man who's due for huge money after this season. He's franchise tag, of course. So that's the football side of it. But like you often do, you got him to open up about a very serious issue in our country and all over the world, and mental health. And it's now become a huge story based on what Skip Bayless had to say about it and others. Tell us a little bit about Dak Prescott coming up on Sunday night in this first episode of season 11.
Sure. Got to give Dak a lot of credit, as well as his father, Nathaniel, oldest brother, Tad. They all had an understandably challenging offseason with their other brother, Jace, committing suicide. Predating that, Dak had his own mental health struggles, talked about going through depression associated with COVID-19. Their mom, Peggy, died of colon cancer several years ago, and their now late brother, Jace, was the one that was with her every day on the front lines of caring for her. He still struggled with that even years later, primarily silently. The other two brothers were aware of it, but certainly not the extent of his struggles. And Jace took his own life. Had to be tremendously difficult for Dak and Tad to talk about it. But I think our hope is that if sharing their story allows others similarly struggling to have a better understanding of what they can do to get help for themselves, then it makes all the difference in the world.
Graham Bensinger with us talking about Dak Prescott. Isn't that what we ask kind of our interview subjects to do? Be vulnerable, be genuine, be honest. And Dak Prescott, maybe even more than anybody expected, doing that, utilizing his platform to help others. It's kind of what we want when we do an interview in our business. It's what you do a good job of week in and week out. And why do you think now was the time for him to share that?
I don't believe it was intentional. We had been working on an episode taping with him for, a year plus, and it ended up getting delayed actually because of the COVID pandemic. And then during that break was when the unfortunate news ended up taking place. So, I think it was more coincidental than anything. I felt like if we were going to do this with him and spend a day with him in Dallas after what had happened, then I wanted to try to talk to him about it because we were profiling him and his life. And to his credit, in the days leading up to the taping, when we discussed the fact that we wanted to talk about that with him, he was willing. So yeah, I don't know that it was anything more than that. But again, being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and the attention he receives, I think it's all the more challenging to put yourself in a vulnerable position like that, and subject yourself to criticism like he's unfortunately received for all the wrong reasons. But give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you get concerned when the other side, this is a different world, right? You're bringing us journalism kind of the way we remembered it a little bit week to week in terms of profiling guys, telling stories, interviews. The new wave, I kind of discussed this on our radio show this week, is, hey, clicks, 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 say something that's going to really spark debate and controversy. And sometimes I believe it's a little bit selling your soul to do it that way. But is it a dangerous precedent for some, in this case, Skip Bayless, to really attack people for these kind of things when we want our athletes to utilize their platform?
Yeah, I without question disagree with what he said. Speaking to the broader question just about if it's dangerous, I think the challenge is it's a function of the media landscape today. You need headlines or clickbait to drive views, to bring ad dollars. And so I understand the challenging position that creates for people in the media whose jobs are, predicated on having an opinion. I disagree without question with what he said. I don't agree, however, with people that are calling for the guy to lose his job over it, because look, we have a country that free speech is allowed. I think debate's fine, opinion's good, but you also have to be careful with what you say, especially when it deals with mental health, because it's a dangerous topic and one that a lot of people are suffering from.
In depth with Graham Bensinger. You can see the season 11 debut coming up Sunday night, midnight on Fox 30 here in Jacksonville. Graham Bensinger joining us right now in the Dak Prescott issue of Graham Bensinger will obviously be played this weekend. Looking forward to that show. Let's talk a little bit more about you, man. This is a wild thing. I kind of we talk about you a bunch in our sports department. I'm not going to lie. But how does he get these guys? How does he do it? You're like the restaurant that has a secret ingredient, but we really don't know. How do you guys do this? How do you get on a plane for a few days with Jack Nicklaus, or end up in Monaco, or end up with Dak Prescott? Everybody's trying to get these guys.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I just harass them until they tell me to F off or finally agree to do it. It's actually funny. I ran into Wayne Gretzky not too long ago with the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, who we've featured for an episode before. And we're working on an episode taping. We're trying to get Dustin Johnson, his daughter's fiance, for an episode taping. And, Wayne says to me, I heard you've been, working on a taping with DJ. I'm like, this is amazing. He said something to you about it. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, did you tell him to do it? Because, we still haven't gotten him booked yet. He's like, yeah, I told him to do it. And I'm like, if you're going to do it now, because if not, Graham's going to drive you crazy and make your life a living hell until you finally agree to sit down with him. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I mean, some of them just take a lot of time to book. If we were looking for 5 or 10 minutes with these guys, it'd be a lot easier to get access sooner. I mean, the Jack Nicklaus one, as example, took 5 years to book. We just did a 3-hour taping with Tom Hanks. I managed to track down his email address many years ago, and that was 4 years of pursuing him before he finally agreed to do this recent taping with us. So takes time. I'm on the front lines of that. We also have a great talent booker, but just quick to hop on a plane, fly wherever, even if that's just to take somebody out for a meal to try and convince the rep or their client to do a taping with us.
Graham Bensinger with us, in depth with Graham Bensinger here in Jacksonville. Will be Sunday night, season 11 debut on Fox 30. And Graham's with us for a few more minutes. Don't you find, or do you find, that a lot of these folks, while it takes a long time to book them and they're maybe reluctant at first, once you share their story, they kind of like having their story shared?
I think what I found is, and I'm lucky because I'm conscious of our place in all of this, which is nobody needs me or our show. The people we try and get access to generally don't need the exposure because they're the A-list, larger than life type individuals. But I think what I found is, we put probably 100 hours of research into each interview preceding the sit down. Even if the person has no idea who I am coming into our taping with them, if they see you're prepared, that almost immediately separates you from like 99.9% of the other people that are interviewing them, and inherently just creates the opportunity for better access, and they get a little more engaged and willing to give you more. And so I think that's really the difference maker that I've recognized. But again, conscious art and of our place in all of this, which is none of them need us.
All right, who you chasing? Who's been working on 3 or 4 years? Can you tell us somebody you're chasing that you want to get and you haven't been able to land yet?
Oh, so many. A sitting president, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Lance Armstrong, Tiger Woods, a ton that I'd still love the opportunity to talk to.
All right, one more thing about your background. In the notes that your fine folks shared, it said you got $400,000 in debt to kind of fire this thing up years ago. Why? And and what gave you the confidence that it would work to put yourself in that much debt?
Yeah. So, I mean, in short, I did not have the confidence that it would work. I think I had gotten it to a place where it wasn't going to be able to grow anymore unless I invested everything I could. And so it's either, all right, I'm going to go find a new job or I'm going to go all in. So I'm 34, started when I was in 8th grade with an internet sports radio show, and was just lucky that a hobby and a passion turned into a career. But it left college after a year and a half. I was working for ESPN at the time, then NBC. And at the height of the last financial crisis in spring 2009, I get laid off. And in my prior roles, I would always do these long form interviews, but then only 30 seconds of the most controversial stuff oftentimes would make TV. I didn't have control over any of that. And so when I got laid off, I thought, all right, don't have the resume to warrant anybody giving me the platform that I'm looking for, one where I can fairly tell these stories in like the half-hour weekly show that we now have. And so I just thought, let's see if I can create it on my own. So traveled the country, going city by city, signing on an ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox station, signed on the advertisers myself, and employ the people that film and edit the show now. And we still have a small team, 10, 12 people. But, you recognize certainly after a few years that you can't do everything yourself, and you need to build a strong team of people. And it was that kind of forced me to go severely in debt, almost personally bankrupt myself. But you almost don't have any other choice. I know I never want to go through that again, but you also learn a lot from going through it, and wouldn't trade the experience really for anything in the world.
It's a really cool story. And by the way, if at your young age, when you were doing it, nowadays, if you're young and you really want to get into this kind of business, heck, you got the computers, you got the phones, you can do almost anything you want. You can have your podcast if you're 6 years old.
Yeah. Look, and I think I was super lucky growing up. I had 2 parents that believed in me, only went to college for a year and a half, but my parents paid for the year and a half that I went to college. So you recognize when you get older, like, I was way luckier than most. But the thing I always tell the kids when they reach out to me, like, I had no media training. I didn't have a parent in sports or media, et cetera. I just wanted to do it. And I pursued it and worked hard and believed in myself. And, if you do that, I think you can do pretty much whatever you want.
One last one for you. How weird is it being the guy that answers the questions?
Yeah, I'm not very good at this. I talked to Elisa, our PR and digital manager who's off screen right now all the time. Like, I'm terrible at this. It's a lot easier, like, being the one asking the questions and controlling the situation a little more.
I kind of agree, but it's tough to be in that spot. Thankfully, I don't do too many interviews. We appreciate you taking the time, though. In depth with Graham Bensinger, season 11. It starts this Sunday night here in Jacksonville. It's all over the country, but in Jacksonville on Fox 30. And by the way, you can go to youtube.com as well /Graham Bensinger to see more of your stuff. Hey, man, thanks for taking some time. Good luck with season 11. I know it's going to be different, but good luck to you and your team, and hope everybody does well.
Yeah, and really appreciate you having me. Thanks so much for doing this.
A name that, again, you're not talking about seeing him on all the time, but weekly and depending on where you are at the country. And Dak Prescott will be the subject of episode number 1, midnight, Fox 30 on Sunday night, following Action Sports Jax primetime, as we've got just so many shows lined up for you this weekend to kick off football season. And Dak Prescott really showing some vulnerability, talking about mental health, and then obviously under criticism, although I wouldn't call it criticism. I think it was just Skip Bayless being, well, a word that I'd rather not say. So it was interesting that Graham Bensinger said he doesn't think he should be fired for it, which a lot of people have called for Skip Bayless to be suspended, fired, whatever. And we'll see what happens with that situation. I think he did issue, I think it was kind of an apology today for Skip Bayless. But anyway, that's Graham Bensinger. Took you a little bit behind the scenes there in the business a little bit, because I'm telling you, down in our sports office, we talk about it all the time. Every time the Graham Bensinger show comes on in depth, we're like, how does he get that interview? So it was kind of fun to go behind the scenes with Graham Bensinger. Some other things going on. Obviously, big weekend in the NFL, right? And pretty cool what Atlanta is doing. John Lewis, the icon, of course, passed away recently, is going to be an honorary captain for the Atlanta Falcons this weekend. So that is cool in their game against Seattle. The Falcons will open up at home. And what I think is a very intriguing game, too, because Seattle is Seattle, but they usually start slow. And Atlanta finished strong last year. And Atlanta has a lot of firepower. So we'll see how that game shakes out. I think that would be really interesting amongst many other interesting games across the NFL. But that Seattle-Atlanta one, underrated, has me intrigued, to say the least. So that'll be kind of cool. Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, another one against Minnesota. What should we expect from Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? A lot of people doubting them. You talk about a team that has bulletin board material, and when you win 13 games and you do what they did last year, and then people don't really think you're even going to win the division or really compete that much for the division, I think it's amazing that people view the Green Bay Packers as basically like a little fluky last year, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is losing it a little bit or doesn't have enough around him. And then all the Jordan Love stuff, of course, from the draft. But Green Bay is an interesting team, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play really good football this year. We all get to figure it out starting up this weekend. FSU at 4 is something we do here at Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. The Florida State Seminoles are home against Georgia Tech tomorrow afternoon, 3:30. You can hear the game right here on ESPN 690. It's the debut of the Florida State Seminoles on ESPN 690. We are your home for Florida State football and basketball. So, Noles fans, you know where to go. If you've been wondering, how do I find the game? Well, you got one of the strongest signals in the Southeast now to find the game for Florida State against Georgia Tech. And another one of these games, like what you talk with Jags and Colts or any team coming into week one and so unpredictable, because every season is, but this season really feels like it. You know, all those things almost becoming cliche at this point. Oh, man, Florida State, I have no idea what to expect. I really think they're going to win this game, and I think they're going to look good. I do. I say that with not a lot of confidence. I just don't know. And I think Norvell's going to be pretty good. I think this is going to be a good hire. I think they got through some mud already this offseason. I think they've smoothed some of those things over. I think the attention to detail will be big for Florida State. I think the organization of Norvell, I think his offense, I think the staff that he's got, like all these things will add up and be good, and good in the long term. I don't know how good it will be
in the short term. I don't know how quick they'll turn things around. I don't know if they'll be 7 wins, 8 wins, 6 wins or something worse. I don't think their ceiling is super high, but they could be an 8-win team, I would think. I think maybe that's the ceiling. Could they fall to 7 wins? Probably more likely. 6-5? I think a lot of people are guessing that. So Florida State is an interesting watch, and they've got some really difficult games with Clemson and Notre Dame, of course. North Carolina is in there. I get the feeling North Carolina is a shade overrated in the ACC just because they're getting so much love. Obviously, Howell's really good, but I do think they're getting a little bit too much love. And think about Howell and Jeff Sims. Those are guys that could have been at Florida State, by the way. And Jeff Sims could be starting for Georgia Tech against Florida State. Here is a true freshman, the young man from Jacksonville and Sandalwood High School. But Florida State plays tomorrow, 3:30. I think that's a fun watch and hopefully a listen for you if you can't watch it right here on ESPN 690 because we really just don't know what we're going to get. I think Noles fans are a little apprehensive because of what they watched the last couple of years, the downfall the last 3 seasons if you combine Jimbo's last year. Now the offseason stuff. Is their offensive line good enough? Is James Blackman really the guy? How do you replace Cam Akers? They've got some legit questions. We had Gene Williams on yesterday from warchant.com, and their defense should be good. They've got talented players, and they have talented Tamari and Terry on offense, Marvin Wilson on defense. I mean, they've got reasons to watch and reasons to believe that they could be good or at least better than people think. But, man, you really got to see it. It's hard to blind faith Florida State right now based on the last few years, no doubt about it. But the Mike Norvell era begins tomorrow, so should be interesting to watch. If you're watching, if you want to listen, if you're in your car, if you can't watch the whole thing, tune into ESPN 690. Noles fans, we're here for you, the official station of the Florida State Seminoles. That will take place tomorrow at 3:30. Is the kickoff. Still a couple weeks away from the SEC play. Really not a lot of great games, by the way, in the in college football tomorrow. There are games, not a lot of great games, so nothing to get overly excited about. Still think we're a couple weeks away from seeing those big-time battles. SEC schedule is all SEC, so we no doubt will get some big ones and even some big ones await, like Florida State, Miami coming up in a couple weeks in the ACC as well. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's pick time. Pick time here on the show on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. It returns. Did we even keep score last year? Did we figure out who won last year?
We kept score for a while, and then I think it just kind of
it faded, right? We're doing high school football. We're on the road. We're just ESPN 690 trying to make it work, which we kind of still are. But we're going to keep score. We got a special guest coming up for picks. Austin Lane will join us a little bit later on with his selections. And it's all on the way. Coming up next, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Who you like this weekend, we'll tell you in the NFL. And we'll even pick that Florida State game as well. With the spreads. This isn't just circle a winner. It's with the spreads. And it's next on ESPN 690.
Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few coastal showers will press inland through the day and into the afternoon. It will be partly sunny to partly cloudy. A few inland afternoon storms, but highs near 90. Partly cloudy, mild and muggy this evening with a few coastal showers and overnight lows in the mid-70s. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Hurry! It's the last time you'll get 5 years, 0 interest this year.
If you have a specific medical problem, you call a specialist. Broken leg? Call an orthopedist. Cataracts? Call an ophthalmologist. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our doctors specialize in ED and PE. Listen to Dr. Rubinski, a renowned expert in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinski. If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain or surgery. In fact, you'll see results in the office guaranteed or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting for 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, treatments are affordable.
Men, If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, call Prime Men's Medical Center for a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians. Call 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jags Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jagscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct, but right now it's smarter than ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing and no money down on any purchase. No kidding, it's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. I'm telling you, this makes fine jewelry more affordable than ever. It's definitely the smart way to buy. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com.
Off Town Center Parkway.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to...
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliances breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first two, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. Our team can help you understand your legal options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Been dreaming of Subway tile and butcher block counters? Outdoor kitchens and pavers?
Oh, honey.
The weather's great and it's time to knock out those nagging home projects with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Borrow up to 90% loan to value and pay no closing costs. Best of all, we'll give you a free wheelbarrow. That's right, a free wheelbarrow. Apply today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Just please, no more shiplap.
The First is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jags Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jagscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
The football season is here, and you can track the latest news, odds, and information at betonline.net. And while stadiums won't be full, game action will be loaded. Which players will step up to lead their team? Is there still a home field advantage? Will offense or defense dominate these early weeks of the season? Follow along at betonline.net as the top teams in football begin their journey to Tampa. Available online or your mobile device. Check out the site today. Bring the game home at betonline.net.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, pick any piece of beautiful jewelry, get the best price, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. It's the easiest and smartest way to buy. 5 years, zero interest financing, and everything's included. From all engagement rings to all bands, bracelets, earrings, and pendants. Don't miss this encore offer for 2020. You can even finance the sales tax. 5 years, zero interest. Now for a limited time at Diamonds Direct. Approved credit. Get store hours, directions, and details now at diamondsdirect.com.
With COVID-19, even more local families need food, and kids could use something to smile about. Give a gift in any amount to Jewish Family and Community Services, and it will automatically double. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for hunger, here for Jags.
When you shop the 904, you're helping local businesses right here on the First Coast. Most of the money stays right here in our community. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Austin Lane.
Are we on right now or not? Like our screen? I guess we're good.
Brent Martineau.
Yeah, you got to go all the way. Yeah, we're back. Thanks for your concern.
You're welcome.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I would say coming out of coming out of high school, I didn't have that many offers. I didn't go to a lot of camps when I was in high school. I just didn't like to. I felt like it didn't really do anything for me. After the draft, I would say Coach Terry, Coach Trubisky, called me before the last pick and said that he was gonna try to get them to draft me, but he wasn't gonna make any promises. I said okay, but at that point I was just looking to get on the field somewhere. And another team that called me was the 49ers, and those are the only two.
How about that, James Robinson? What a story. From Howard Lee scholarship offers to Illinois State to the NFL undrafted to the starting running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 1. Wow. I mean, that is unbelievable, really, if you think about it. A meteoric rise here in the last few months for James Robinson. He will be the starting running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. And let's see what happens. Let's hope he's something special. I said this yesterday. The roadmap to success for the Jaguars is they need to find some players that maybe we don't think are great, or maybe we're undrafted, or maybe hasn't been great the last couple of years, like a Taven Bryan. They need those guys to emerge a little bit. If you're going to turn this thing around, you got to get lucky. And you have to get lucky in some spots. James Robinson right now is such a curiosity that you just kind of keep your fingers crossed, and maybe the Jags could get lucky with their newfound running back. It'll be him and Chris Thompson basically handling the load. And we'll see if Laviska Shenault runs out of the backfield a little bit. I think that's an interesting part of it. All right, will the Jags win? Who do you have? It's pick time, man. Football is back. It is time to get into it. Our 6-pack of picks. We'll keep score this time for real. Austin is going to give us his picks a little bit later. He joins us in at 5 o'clock hour. He's going to fight tomorrow night. So he'll normally be here, but obviously he's up in Charleston, South Carolina. He's going to weigh in, and he'll join us at 5 o'clock. So we'll talk more about his picks and more about the NFL and the Jags and everything at 5. But right now, we are joined by Brandon Ponsell from Jacksonville Coastal Homes, jackscoastalhomes.com. And he's going to join us on Fridays to bring our pick segment, but to join in on the picks. And why, by the way, let's get like a nugget or two at real estate. Selling your home, buying a home. What a time here in Jacksonville. So Brandon's going to join us. Now, he says he's an expert, big football fan, big sports fan, played soccer at Western Kentucky. He's a hilltopper. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, man, they're fun to watch in hoops too, weren't they, Brandon? How you doing, man?
They got a program. When I was there, they went into Rupp Arena and beat a top 10 UK team. Probably the only time in my life I've rooted against Kentucky, but probably will never happen again either. But they were fun to watch while I was there. Made a couple NCAA tournaments, and it was a good time at Diddle Arena back in the day.
Yeah, you're a Kentucky guy, which means you better like basketball in Kentucky. Play a little bit in high school, played soccer again at Western Kentucky. But I think like Western Kentucky at times is one of those teams where you're like, hey, I could see an upset bid happening here. Like they were in the bracket where let's take a flyer on these guys because you know what, the Hilltoppers name's kind of cool.
Yeah, when I was there, they made the tournament 3 years in a row, I believe. And Patrick Sparks, who went on to transfer to Kentucky and do some big things in some of the tournament. But it was a few years back. They made a run to the Sweet 16, I believe, and met up with UCLA and bowed out. So they've had their history for sure.
Brent Martineau, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. It's time for our picks, six-pack of picks. And Brandon Ponsel from Jack's Coastal Homes is here with us, and he's going to join us on our pick segment along with Kuz. Kuz, are you making picks? Are you going to do this?
I don't know how this is going to go, so I might have to sit back for this one.
You can just tell me your picks later because you're building all sorts of graphics and all that. But we'll have Austin, of course, joining us with the picks coming up each and every week. We'll keep track. We'll have some fun, and we'll also get a few tips on real estate along the way. Hey, this market is absolutely wild right now. At least that's been the case. Is that still the case as we are here in September?
It is absolutely the case. Every property, I've got clients sending me properties. Can we see this? And I pull it up, and it's already got multiple offers. If it's priced right, it's going to move. If it's sitting on the market, there's a reason it's priced wrong. There's a lot of pent-up demand to be in Jacksonville. Prices relative to other, mid-major markets like Jacksonville, it's still very affordable to buy a home in Jacksonville, and that's why we're seeing a lot of people relocating here. Interest rates are so low. It's an incredible time to buy, but the market has been moving upward. So there's a lot of people who have some nice equity in their homes, and it's not a terrible time to sell either. So it's just a kind of a well-balanced market. And if you see the right place, you better move on it.
Yeah,
you better have somebody on your side that knows how to negotiate and get the deal done for you.
Well, you've been doing this coast to coast, San Diego to Jacksonville. Brandon Ponsel from Jack's Coastal Homes. Check out their website, jackscoastalhomes.com. I've got to be honest with you, man. I've looked around. During the pandemic, we've all looked at all different things, and I ended up refinancing because the rates are so low. But I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, everything's selling so quick. Like, I might just sell my house, see if I can make a little money, and go live in an apartment for a couple of years until the market goes down a little bit. I'm sure you're not advising that.
I wouldn't advise that, but if you're sitting on a lot of equity, sometimes it's good to cash out if you've got other avenues, other places you can put your money. Investment properties with good cap rates. You're going to see, capitalization rates, how much you're making versus how much you've invested into the property. You see great cap rates here in Jacksonville, too. So if you cash out a single-family home and put it into an investment property, you can see some great returns and long-term cash flow.
Good stuff. I think everybody loves kind of talking real estate a little bit, seeing what the real estate market looks like. So Brandon Ponsel will help us out from Jack's Coastal Homes. But I think everybody also likes to make picks. Everybody likes to do that. Bragging power, little see what you can get over your buddy, maybe a beer on the line or something. But right now, we're not even sure what we have on the line. Maybe like a championship belt, since Austin's usually a part of this. We'll make a belt up for the big winner. But let's do it right now. It's easy. It's a six-pack of picks. It's not many of them. We'll mix it up with college and NFL, but there's not a ton of college games this weekend, and really not a lot that I was like, wow, we got to put that one in. There's just one. And we are now the official Florida State Seminoles football, so let's put them in the six-pack of picks. They're 12.5-point favorites against Georgia Tech, and I have no idea what to expect from either team, quite frankly, but you can listen to the game tomorrow on ESPN 690 at 3:30. All right, Brandon, lead us off, man. What do you think? 12.5-point favorite for Florida State. You taking the Noles, or you like the dog?
It's been a painful couple of years for these Noles fans, and I don't see it getting much better under first-year coach Mike Norvell. He's had very limited time to implement his schemes. So I'm going to rock with Georgia Tech plus 12.5. And look out for the outright winner in Doak Campbell this Saturday.
Whoa, baby. How about that? A little outright winner. You never know. I mean, the Dogs could win the day this weekend all across football, college, and the NFL. I'm going with Florida State. I don't know if that's just because I'm a little biased now since they're on ESPN 690, or I just really don't have a lot of faith in Georgia Tech, quite frankly. I think it's more about that. I think Norvell's going to make a splash in his opener. I'll take Florida State. We'll get Kuz and Austin's pick a little bit later on. All right, we get to the NFL now. And we've got 5 games, handful of games. Seattle and Atlanta. I think this is a fascinating game. Atlanta's favored by 2.5 points. What do you have, Brendan?
It's a great matchup. A lot of talent's going to be on the field. But this is a simple one for me. I got Russell Wilson as a top 5 QB, and it seems like Matt Ryan regresses every single year. He's just starting to show his age. So you're giving me 2.5 in an empty Mercedes-Benz Dome. Give me the points in the Hawks.
How about that? You like the Hawks. I'm going the opposite of you. I'm taking Atlanta by a field goal in this one, and here's why. I think Atlanta, they really turned it on at the end of last year. I think they're going to bounce back totally this season and kind of be a little bit under the radar. And here's the biggest reason. Seattle seems to get off the slow starts, and they have to come all the way across the country for this one in this COVID-19 world. I'm going to say a Seattle team sluggish out of the gates in 2020, although I like them long-term in this season, and I got Atlanta winning by a field goal in the opener. All right, Cleveland-Baltimore. I think this is a fun one. Baltimore, obviously a pick that many believe could go to the Super Bowl, favored by a touchdown and a hook, 7.5 points, favorite for the Ravens. What you think?
You got a heated divisional matchup, giving me 7.5 points. The Browns tend to play the Ravens pretty tough. So I'm going to take the 7.5. I think Baker Mayfield makes some strides forward. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They kind of know how to play against Lamar Jackson, so I'll take the 7.5 in Cleveland.
Hey, you know what? I'm coming with you, man. I like that, too. I like the touchdown against Baltimore. I don't know what to make of Cleveland, but I'm going to give them at least an early shine. And they've got so many weapons there. We'll see if they can put it all together. And I'm not in love with Baltimore like everybody else, but I wasn't last year either, and look what they did, and I was the dummy. So I'll take Cleveland getting 7.5 points in the opener. I don't think they win, but I think they'll cover. Tampa Bay at New Orleans, really the most fun game of the weekend, just because you get to see, whoever would have thought in the NFL, if we asked this question like 10 years ago, hey, you get to see a 43-year-old quarterback and like a 42-year-old quarterback, it's going to be the best game of the week in the NFL. Nobody says that. Well, it is. Tom Brady in his debut with Tampa and Drew Brees and New Orleans have been just really, really good the last few years and unstoppable at times on offense. What do you think?
Yeah, this one's going to be must-see TV. I have the Bucs winning the Super Bowl this year, so I think Bruce Arians and Tom Brady are a match made in heaven. I think they're going to put up a ton of points this year. Look out for Brady to challenge that 50-touchdown mark that he set back in 2007 with us. I'll take the Bucs in the 3.5 all day.
Wow, how about that? Brendan Ponsel from Jack's Coastal Homes taking the Bucs, likes them in the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl. 50 touchdowns with some bold predictions for Tom Brady and the Bucs, assuming it all clicks. You just kind of wonder who catches up. Does Father Time catch up with one of these guys sooner or later? It looked like it was happening in New England a little bit with Brady, but he looks revitalized as well. I think the Drew Brees-led Saints have too much. I think they've all been together. The continuity there. Kamara's back. He's happy now. Peyton and Brees, they know this is their last run. This is their last chance. I like New Orleans in the opener to win at home and cover 3.5 points. All right, Dallas and the Rams. Now, we're rooting against the Rams here in Jacksonville, so they can give us a pick and a good one in 2021. But the Rams are 3-point dogs at home. That's usually a pretty enticing line when you're doing picks.
Yeah, I don't know where the Rams get all this money to keep paying everybody. So starting to think this roster is going to be pretty thin with some top-end talent like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but might see a lot of holes in that defense this year. Always looking for angles when I'm betting, and I'm wondering, do the wildfires affect the Rams in their preparation this week? I think the Cowboys have a lot of talent. If they can contain Aaron Donald, I think they move the ball up and down the field. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one.
I'm with you, man. I think Dallas wins this game, too. I had the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl last year, and I think I was a year early. I think Dallas might really have a chance this year to turn some heads. They are talented on paper. We'll see if they can live up to it. I think they get a W, actually, outright when by more than 3 because they're favored by 3 on the road. So the odds makers like them as well. Okay, and we bring it back home. We always go with the Jaguars game, Indy and the Jags. And this is a lot of points at home. I know on paper Indy looks good. But Indy's given up 8 points here in Jacksonville, a place they have not won since 2014.
Yeah, on this one, it pains me to say this for our faithful Jaguar fans that are listening, but I think it's going to be a long season for the Jags. But there's a prize at the end of that road in Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to rock with the Colts. I'm going to lay the 8. I think the Colts have a very talented roster. Chris Ballard's unreal GM. He's filled that roster out. I got the Colts making a deep run in the playoffs too, so I'm gonna take the Colts -8.
Well, how about this, man? I'm coming with you a little bit on what you just said at the end. Brandon Ponsel from Jack's Coastal Homes making the picks with us. Our 6-pack of picks brought to you by Jack's Coastal Homes. Check out the website, jackscoastalhomes.com. And I actually have Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts going to the Super Bowl. But I also have them getting stunned in the opener, believe it or not. So I'm taking the 8 points for sure. And I actually am going to be this crazy sunshine and rainbows Brent to start 2020 to provide a little hope and a little spark and say, you know what, the Jags just seemingly have the Colts number. But I'll take the 8 points, so we differ there. All right, Brandon, good work, man. Now we see how it all plays out this weekend. You come back next week, and somebody's got some bragging power. One of us. We'll wait to see what Austin has to say as well. Hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the football, and thanks for jumping in.
Sounds good. It was fun. Thank you.
That's Brandon Ponsel from Jack's Coastal Homes. Once again, jackscoastalhomes.com. Your 6-pack of picks. We'll bring it to you every Friday right around this time at 4:30 on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I'll go through those quickly with Austin here in a few minutes as well. And this year, we'll keep score for good. Especially if I'm winning, but we'll keep score. I like the idea, maybe a belt. Maybe we get I did Dream 18 belts last year. They come out pretty cool. So maybe we go with I think we were kind of messing around and saying the fantasy football belt we were going to do last year, but then Austin won, so we didn't want to give it to him. So now maybe we go picks.
That'd be fun. Also, you just, when you mentioned Austin, was it you that took Lamar Jackson in the draft? I saw that. I was like, I could hear Austin yelling from here.
I kind of did it just for that, right? Because he rode Lamar Jackson to the fantasy title last year, so I said, I'm getting him away from him.
Yeah.
That was part of the reason I took him. I took him in the 3rd round, maybe a shade early, but I took him anyway because I wanted to get him out of there. So we'll see if that was good or not. Hey, NBA playoffs this weekend. You got the Drive and Dish podcast coming up tomorrow. We are all over the place here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. What's your expectation, man? Game 7, Celtics and Raptors. I like the Celtics here. I think a lot of people like the Raptors. I don't even know what a Vegas line says about this game. But I like the Celtics. I actually think they're going to pull this thing out. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah, I like the Celtics, but I'm having flashbacks to the Sixers losing last year. I actually can remember exactly where I was when Kawhi Leonard hit that shot. It was so depressing. But, Kawhi's not there. And the Raptors have been fighting so hard to come back. They were already down in the series, so I think they're just going to run out of steam, to be honest with you. And I think the Celtics are going to get it done.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the NBA playoffs and in this game. How about whoever wins this, do they beat the Heat or do the Heat go to the finals?
I'm not betting against Jimmy Butler. I can't go against Jimmy Butler. The dude's just like, he's on a whole nother level. Another one that's an insult to the Sixer fan base right now because they chose to let him leave over some other players.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Clippers have a chance to close out the series against the Nuggets. We are on a crash course for Clippers and Lakers, which many people anticipated. We can talk about that next week when that all starts to shake.
Money line for the Raptors, by the way, I pulled it up. They're plus 130.
Yeah, Celtics are favored in this game. I didn't think I'd be picking the favorite when I said the Celtics. I thought the Raptors would be favored.
No, because I think the Celtics have been the favorite kind of the whole season, which is kind of surprising, or the whole season, the whole series, which is kind of surprising. But they just came out so strong in those first few that I just think they'll be able to close it tonight.
All right, we'll see what happens in the NBA. Major League Baseball, by the way, winding down. We're closing in on like 10 games left in the regular season. For some, others have to catch up a little bit, but we're getting into the postseason in Major League Baseball. And all along the way, here we are. Football season has arrived. Florida State tomorrow, 3:30 against Georgia Tech on ESPN 690. And then, of course, Sunday, it's a full slate of games, including the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Indianapolis Colts. 1 o'clock, you can see that game on CBS 47. We got some high school football chatter coming up because we debut a new show tonight, the Blitz Scoreboard Show. That will be at 9 o'clock. And we also have, of course, the Friday Night Blitz. We're all over the place with our cameras, and our high school coverage in earnest begins tonight, both here on the radio side, digitally, social media, and on TV. But when we come back, we go to Charleston, South Carolina. I wonder if he can tune us in. If the signal's loud and clear up there in Charleston, South Carolina, as Austin Lane gets ready to fight tomorrow night, a little more than 24 hours away, weigh-in coming up in about an hour, and he joins us to make a few picks, talk a little ball, and set the scene for the weekend. Austin Lane on the way. Coming up next on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Max Kellerman.
Irresponsible leaders in this country have put us into a position where we're sort of in a post-truth world.
You've heard him on First Take, and now you get even more Max.
And there is such thing as the truth.
The intensity.
And if these other sports want a shot, I suggest they get much more sober in their view, imitate what the NBA is doing.
The Max Kellerman Show, August 17th at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
It's a busy time right now as the kids head back to school. COVID-19 is still lingering, and flu season is right around the corner. Clean air and home comfort have never been more important. Clean air equals healthier air. Your friends at Bold City Heating and Air offer duct sanitation and air purification, meaning not only will your Bold City Heating and Air be chilly cold, but also free of any microbacteria or nasty viruses that may try to make your home their home. Never fear what you can't see again. For only $499, a Bold City Heating and Air sanitation and purification package will give you peace of mind knowing your family is breathing fresh, clean air. Team at Bold City Heating and Air, take care of your air and comfort. Be bold with COVID and flu season and sanitize your ducts for only $499. Simply with a call to Bold City Heating and Air at 904-379-1648. That's 904-379-1648. Or visit boldcityace.com. Bold City Heating and Air. Be bold and stay cold.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision, to deprive you of important local news and to watch your favorite teams at the start of football season, then make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474 and demand they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years, servicing Jacksonville to St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra with a warranty on parts and labor, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. When your appliances quit, we're ready to get started. For quality repair at a price that's fair, visit AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
Fire threatens everything in its path. When it threatens our nation and our communities, we respond. We bring the fight to the front line. The Army National Guard stands ready to face the dangers of Mother Nature and protect our homes and our neighbors. We will always be there when your community needs us the most. Discover more about all the ways you can serve part-time in your community by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Sometimes you go to a place and you just feel at home. That's the way it is at the golf course at Southampton, and you can make it your home course. Membership program starting at just $79. The brand new practice facility has been a huge hit. It's a fun course, player-friendly course, so get your buddies, your friends, go play some golf and have some fun at the golf club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Jax Stream 18 golf tournament, and it can be your home course as well. For information on memberships, call 904-287-PLAY. That's 904-287-PLAY.
there's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge.
We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jags Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jagscoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
Is your business losing sales from the current pandemic? Are you trying to remain in touch with important clients? If you're struggling with questions like this, you're not alone. Many small businesses are currently in a severe crisis and need immediate assistance. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE offers webinars on a variety of topics that can help you manage through this crisis. Click on the Take a Workshop tab at jacksonville.score.org and register today.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can without talking insurance. Ready? Go.
Hi. Guess we should talk about something. How's the vermicelli game in your town? Got any good Vietnamese restaurants? Vermicelli? Oh, it's a noodle. Very good. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the first game set of this year's Eastern Conference playoffs. The Raptors and Celtics will settle their second-round series tonight. Pre-game coverage starts at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, where Sean Kelly will call the game and can feel the tensions in this series.
There's a real respect amongst them as well, and you can see that. And they're not afraid to either A, call each other out, or, okay, you got that one, I'll get you the next time.
Sean Kelly on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. Broncos linebacker Von Miller had surgery today on his injured ankle. It's possible he could miss the season. He got hurt during Tuesday's practice. Chargers center Mike Pouncey is out for Sunday's opener against the Bengals with a hip injury. He didn't practice all week. New Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski announces today he'll be calling the team's offensive plays this season. Ohio State offensive lineman Wyatt Davis will enter the NFL draft. He was a first-team All-American last year as a sophomore.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, if you want to check your fantasy lineups, make sure you check out the injury reports. Tyler Davis is out for the Jags. I'm not saying he was on your fantasy team. I'm just giving you an update. But the 49ers have ruled out Deebo Samuel, and I think he might be on my fantasy team. I knew he'd be out for a week or so, but old Deebo, I figure will make an impact a little bit later on in the season, most likely. All right, earlier this week, we got Austin Lane coming on in just a moment. We'll get his picks. We'll get his thoughts on the NFL. So much more to get to, a little high school football as well. An hour to go here on a Friday, opening week in the NFL. Jags and Colts, 1 o'clock, CBS 47 on Sunday. Can't wait for it. It's going to look different, feel different, sound different. And that's if you're at the stadium. Might even do all those things, even if you're at home watching on CBS 47. But looking forward to it. Quite an experience it will be on Sunday. Earlier this week, one of the shows we have going on, we have a myriad of shows on the TV side, CBS 47 and Fox 30. But tonight we have an hour special. It's basically a Jags preview show. It's an NFL show, but it's also a Jags preview show. We do it every year. And it's at 7 o'clock tonight on CBS 47. So I had this little idea. And this is what you do. In our business, Coos, we call these special opens, all right? So kind of to start the show. And, you know, you do this sometimes in radio, right? You produce something up, start of the show or a segment. And so you're always trying to figure out kind of a new way to do something. So we had a little idea. And we figured we'd have a fan jump in and voice a letter and write a letter to football, like Dear Football. We missed you kind of thing. And so that's how we got here. And then earlier this week, we asked on Twitter, and by the way, the responses were amazing. Now, I don't know how many were real, but I said, I need somebody with a good voice. It doesn't have to be an unbelievable voice, but fan of the Jags, good voice, good speaking voice. And I got all these folks, and a lot of them wanted to sing. We're not singing. We leave that up to Austin on occasion. But that's not what this was all about. So we ended up finding our buddy, and a lot of folks referred this guy to us too, but we thought of him too. We're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Joshua Jackson. Josh Jackson, he's the voice of the Sharks and the Giants, and he's got more rings than Derek Jeter when it comes to championships here in Jacksonville. Also works over at EWC, and perfect. So he agrees to do it. Marcel Robinson puts it together, and it's going to play tonight in our show. But I was like, you know what? Social media was good to us. We asked. You guys delivered. You gave us a lot of thoughts and volunteers. And we may do more of this kind of stuff down the road, so I appreciate it, and I'll keep them. So we figured let's share it and how it came out, because I think Marcel and Josh did a fantastic job. So here you get in a sneak TV tonight. We hope you watch the entire thing. DVR it. We kind of think it's a pretty good show. It's not just this piece, but this is one of the pieces in it. It's only a minute long. So here's Josh Jackson, edited by Marcel Robinson, Dear Football.
Dear Football, the offseason always seems long. After the confetti falls in February, there's typically a yearning for Sundays to return. This year, oh my, we not only you, we need you. The time off was different than ever before.
You know, we're learning how to adapt, how to live in these strange ways.
Months of sports silence, at times a painful silence due to the coronavirus pandemic.
This is a serious situation, and we have to understand the circumstances that come with it.
The time apart was important. Social injustices,
you're seeing an example of what the future can be.
Addressed. Lives have been changed.
We, the National Football League, condemn racism.
These have been historic times. History was written in February in Miami. It's time to write another chapter. It will be a season to remember, a season talked about for decades. We missed you. We love you. We need you. See you Sunday afternoon. Signed, Football Fans.
So there it is, a little Dear Football. We thank Josh Jackson. I hope you liked it. Nice job by Marcel Robinson. And we've got 60 minutes of that kind of stuff tonight in our Jags Preview 2020 show coming up on CBS 47 at 7 o'clock. Maybe we should have just asked Austin Lane to do it. The pipes of Austin Lane. But we saved that for the singing moments. Sing us a song. Like maybe We Are the Champion tomorrow night. It's fight night on Saturday night for Austin Lane. Let's bring him in. He's in Charleston, South Carolina. What's happening, man? You ready to weigh in or what?
Brent, what's going on, man? I am ready to weigh in. So thankfully, I'm obviously in a pretty good mood because I'm a heavyweight and I don't need to cut anything. So, yeah, I'm just having a little snack right now and getting ready to go do it.
I was going to say, isn't that the greatest part, right? I mean, we all weigh in, and I'm too much of a heavyweight, more than I want to be. So the scale never is like, great, yeah, good. But for you, I mean, it doesn't matter really what you weigh, right?
No, I mean, absolutely. As long as I weigh under 265 pounds, which I will definitely be doing that. So I'm happy. And it's crazy here, too, because, every state kind of does things differently. And I'm not sure if it's because the state of South Carolina or because of COVID-19, but usually what promotions are going to do is they're going to have guys weigh in early so that way they can rehydrate and get food in their system, stuff like that. So usually you weigh in the morning. For whatever reason, guys got to weigh in here at 6 o'clock today. So, I've seen a few guys walking on the hotel, and they're pretty, miserable just because they've had to wait all morning, all afternoon to weigh in now. So,
all right.
I don't envy that at all.
What are you going to weigh in at?
Man, I'd probably say right around 243, 244 maybe, I'm thinking.
All right, and that's good, right? That's where you want to be?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I mean, as long as I feel good, which I do, and I feel strong, which I do as well. So, as long as I'm not too low, which I shouldn't be, I'm happy.
What's the weight of this your opponent? Because last one, I mean, the other guy outweighed you by 30, 40 pounds by the time the fight started, I think.
Yeah. So I think that this guy's going to be kind of the same style. He's going to be a little more on the shorter side. I think my last opponent was 6'3" or so. This guy's going to be about 6'1", but we're expecting probably 250 to 260. So pretty close in terms of weight to my last opponent.
Okay. That makes I don't know if that's good or bad or indifferent, but he I think the book on this guy, right, likes to throw a little bit.
Likes to throw a little bit. They call him Boom Gordon, so obviously, he's trying to match his nickname here. This is a 5-round fight, like I said before. I'm not trying to get paid by the hour, though. I can get him out fast. I'm going to get him out fast. But the biggest thing for this fight is just to stay patient. Stay patient, stay long. Obviously, I have the reach in this fight, so I have to use that, use all my techniques, make him second-guess himself, and most importantly, man, it's going to have fun.
All right, man, go get it done. We know how people can watch? You probably don't know right off the top of your head, but you can watch, right?
Yeah. We're still waiting to hear. I don't know if there's some kind of discrepancy because of who they could allow in the venue in terms of recording and streaming and things like that. So I haven't had a final thing quite yet, but once I find out, if I do, I'll be sure to send you a text message or, I'll send Kuz one. You guys can probably put it out on the ESPN 690 social media platform. So as soon as I find out, I'll be sure to share that information.
Yeah, we've had some people asking, so we'll definitely try to share that. We want to watch tomorrow night and bring back the W, bring back the belt, man. Good luck tomorrow night in that. All right, let's get some of your picks in. I pick you tomorrow night to win, but that doesn't count in our standings, unfortunately. So
I appreciate it.
We got 5 NFL games. We have 1 college game, Florida State, who you can hear tomorrow at 3:30 right here on ESPN 690. And you can probably hear it all the way up in Charleston, South Carolina, by the way. Florida State, Georgia Tech, the Noles favored by 12.5. Who do you have?
Listen, I have Florida State winning this match for sure, but also I feel like new coach, new system, some question marks from last year, offensive line, things like that. Georgia Tech, they're still a young team as well, but I just think given all the circumstances of COVID-19, I think Florida State wins a close nail-biter. I have Florida State winning, but give me Georgia Tech with those points.
All right, now we go to the NFL. I think this game's fascinating, man. Seattle, Atlanta, I think it will kind of get hidden a little bit, and it's not going to draw headlines, but I think it's a really good game. Atlanta favored by 2.5 at home.
Yeah, obviously I think if there was fans there, maybe I would change my tune a little bit, but go ahead and give me Russell Wilson. Give me the Seahawks. I get it. They're slow starters. It seems like every single year in terms of, what they do week 1, week 2. They're obviously a favorite team this year to go a long ways. They add Jamal Adams. Have fun with that, Todd Gurley. I think Seattle's too tough on the defensive line. I got Seattle winning this one.
All right, next up, Cleveland and Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 7.5. Is that too much against Cleveland?
Listen, there's 2 factors in this decision I'm about to make right now. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. You know how I feel about him. You took him in the fantasy draft. I see you hopping on the Lamar Jackson bandwagon. A year later.
That was called a block.
A year later. Well, hey, I still got Kyler Murray, so we're all good there. Don't worry about that.
He'll be benched by week 6.
But with that being said, go ahead and give me Jackson. But more importantly, keep in mind what Baltimore does, all right? Baltimore takes the preseason games more serious than everybody. 0 preseason games this year means they're going to put all those preseason games into the week 1 matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Go ahead and give me Harbaugh coaching these guys up, getting ready for week 1. Everyone's talking about J.K. Dobbins right now. Give me some more Mark Ingram. People forget about how good that guy is, smash mouth style of football. I got Baltimore winning big.
That's an interesting take. Good take on the preseason. You're right. Baltimore does put a lot into those preseason games, including taking Gardner Minshew's head off in one a year ago. All right, listen. I am not this crazy. I say this a lot. I try not to. I love that people love football. I love football. But I always say this. I don't need to sit there and watch 12 games on a Sunday, and we don't get that luxury because we're usually covering the Jags and then putting shows together and all that stuff. I want to see this game. I really do. I want to see Tampa against New Orleans. I'm excited about that game. I really am. It's not just Brady. It's everything. It's the Saints, who always are fun to watch anyway. I want to see how the Bucs stack up, how they look. Will they make a good first impression? But Tampa is a 3.5-point dog here. New Orleans favored at home. Who do you like?
3.5 dog for Tampa. Okay. Go ahead and give me the New Orleans Saints. I think when you look at both offenses, both have electric playmakers, obviously, on all sides, on every single position. But keep in mind, this Tampa Bay offense is new. New quarterback. Rob Gronkowski is new. I think what they're going to try to do is a little bit new. We're not going to see, I don't think, this run and gun like we saw last year with Jameis Winston. I think you see a little more balanced attack from Tampa Bay. We know what New Orleans does. Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Keep in mind, Alvin Kamara, too, 100% healthy. Just got offered a new contract. I think he plays well. And in terms of defense, I don't think the Saints get enough shine on defense. I think they're a little underrated. So in that, with that being said, I'm taking the Saints with the point. Well, I guess with 3.5, you said?
3.5, they're favored by. So, yeah, got to win by 4.
Yeah. So Saints at least win by 4, absolutely.
All right, Dallas and the Rams now. Dallas on the road in L.A. in a 3-point favorite.
3-point favorite. You know what? This is, I guess, kind of my sleeper pick. Go ahead and give me the Rams with that +3. Listen, everyone's got Dallas going to the Super Bowl, or at least going far in the playoffs. I think that's true. But once again, brand new coaching staff, Mike McCarthy. They're making that trip to the West Coast. Now, there's not going to be fans there. I understand that. But there's still a lot, I think, right now against the Dallas Cowboys in terms of changing their scheme around and obviously traveling. And then the other side of things, you got the Los Angeles Rams with Sean McVay, 12 personnel, Mr. 12 personnel, going to do a little more balance this year. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game more than what people think, and I think the Rams keep this game close.
Wow, that's a little different. And, by the way, that can get you kicked out of Jacksonville for picking the Rams in anything.
Hey, it's just one game. One game.
And finally, Jags in Indianapolis here at home in Jacksonville, 1 o'clock, CBS 47, of course. 17,000 fans will be in attendance, can be in attendance, and it's the only game that will have fans in attendance on Sunday. Kansas City did it last night. 8-point dogs here at home, man. Do you like the points, or do you think Indy is really that much better than the Jags?
Listen, here's the thing, man, and I'm sure have you made your picks yet?
Yeah, I already did.
Jags?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, I figured. All right, so here's the thing, man. As a kid, I used to love drinking Kool-Aid, man, all right? Grape, fruit punch, the red, the green, whatever, man. I loved all kinds of Kool-Aid. As I got older, I realized, you know what? Way too much sugar. It's not good for your teeth. It's not good for your stomach. I can't drink that Kool-Aid. So with that being said, until I have a reason to believe in Jacksonville Jaguars, unfortunately, I can't take them. I think that Indianapolis has advantage in both sides of the trenches, and anytime you have that, I got to take the opponent. So unfortunately, I'm taking the Colts with the points. But you know what? Jacksonville Jaguars prove me wrong, I will not be upset about it.
Yeah, I won't either because I'll pick up a game on you. So there you go. Those are the picks. A minute more of your time before you go weigh in up there in South Carolina for your fight tomorrow night. Austin Lane with us here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Of course, back in the saddle all week next week after he brings home a belt from South Carolina. Jags and Colts, what do you expect out of James Robinson, man? I mean, how intrigued are you about this whole situation? And are we being maybe a little bit too hopeful, or the Jags coaching staff and the building and being a little bit too hopeful about a guy that was undrafted and played at Illinois State?
Listen, I mean, if there's any guy that's going to have an opportunity right now to shine week one, it could be James Robinson, just from the standpoint of, I know what the Colts defensive coordinator right now and those guys are thinking. We got to stop Gardner Minshew. We got to stop DJ Chark. I think this game script for the Colts, at least on defense, is going to revolve around stopping that passing game because they don't take James Robinson seriously. Now, should you or not, that is the million-dollar question. I have nothing to go off of James Robinson, right? Like, I have the college highlight film. I have what the coaches say about him. But in terms of what I've seen in training camp, like, yeah, he's a bigger-looking guy. He looks good running, but what does that really mean if I haven't seen you in a preseason game yet, right? So he could be the next reincarnation of Mark Ingram or, even maybe a better Leonard Fournette, or, he might just be a run-of-the-mill guy. The point is that we just don't know right now. And I think with that being said, I think the Colts try to target Gardner Minshew a little more. Now, whether the Jags offensive line can handle the pressure, we shall see. But obviously, the thing it comes down to is James Robinson the real deal or not? And I'll be honest, I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. One last thought. Was Kansas City that good last night, or is Houston? Does Houston have a problem?
Listen, I thought Houston would keep it a lot closer than what the end result was. Houston, and keep in mind who's coaching the Houston Texans here. It's a Bill O'Brien guy who comes from New England, who comes from that Bill Belichick type defense, who knows good defense. And you saw it. You saw it in the beginning where they threw a couple wrinkles in terms of zone coverage at the Kansas City Chiefs. And by midway through the first quarter, Andy Reid had it figured out already. Okay, this is something new. We can adjust off that. So I think just the Chiefs are that good. And now they add it seems like a power running game with another running back out of nowhere who's going to be like the next big thing. It seems like it's just not fair how many weapons the Chiefs have on that offense, man. And now they add that, they add a new back to the equation. And anytime you can pound the rock like they can and then obviously spread it out with all their weapons, you're going to have something special there, I think.
Yeah, they know what they want, I said earlier in the show. When they wanted Patrick Mahomes, they even had Alex Smith. They're like, you know what? We want this guy. We're going to get him. Edwards-Helaire, everybody said, hey, he's a great fit in Kansas City. And Kansas City said, you know what? You're right. We're going to get him. And it just makes too much sense. And you got to give them credit for that. They know how to see the talent, the fit, and it works. And one other thought on Kansas City is they said, hey, we have the best offense in the league. We're almost unstoppable. But you know what? Let's make it even better. I mean, you got to give them credit for that. So many people would say, all right, let's go fix our weaknesses. Let's not highlight our strength even more. Well, they said, hey, yeah, let's try to fix our weaknesses, but let's make our strength even better. Let's continue the separation with us and the rest of the league. And it looks like they accomplished it.
Yeah, well, without a doubt, and that's kind of been the MO of the Kansas City Chiefs for the past couple of years, where obviously they've been super strong in the pass game. The run game, they could get yards here or there, but they never really intimidated you on the offensive line, right, in terms of getting that push and then getting, 4 or 5 yards a pop. Well, now, you kind of reassemble your offensive line a little bit, and you bring in a new rookie running back who looks poised for the spot, and now you have speed and power. You have literally everything at your disposal, and now if you're Andy Reid, it's just about pushing the right buttons, which obviously no one pushes the right buttons more than Andy Reid, it seems like. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs are off to a great start, and I don't see them slowing any time down soon.
Now that'll look like it. All right, Austin Lane, go get him tomorrow night, man. Good weigh in today, good sleep tonight, and go kick some butt tomorrow night.
Awesome, guys. Sounds good. I appreciate it, man.
All right, Austin Lane will be back here on Monday, hopefully with a belt. And after a big win in the cage, that will be tomorrow night. We'll get you some information on how you can watch that fight as soon as we get it. But usually they're streamed. I know everybody's got protocols now. They're a little different and have changed things up. But hopefully we'll be able to see that one and Austin get a win tomorrow night. Steven, hanging on the line? Let's get him in before we go to break. Steven, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging with us, man. What you got?
Hey, not too much. You didn't take the time to answer my offensive question, but
I only have so much time in the day, Stephen. I mean, come on. I gave you a lot of love yesterday.
It's all right. I mean, everybody's probably seen the media with James Robinson's interview. Guy seems to have all the confidence in the world in himself, which I do like. But I had to ask, stat-wise, what do you think would he have to get to possibly be the permanent starting running back in this first game? He has that opportunity to put his name out there.
So, yeah, he obviously has so are you saying what does he have to do that?
What kind of stats do you think he would have to have in that first game?
All right, it's a good question. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for listening to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Everybody, welcome to jump in, 904-362-9901, ** 690, or on all the social media platforms. That's a good question. What's that line? That's 2 in a row for you, Stephen, by the way. Doing good this week. Well, here's the deal. See, this is the rub with the Jags, in my opinion, and some people disagree with me. Like last night on Jaguars All Access, Jeff Logman disagreed a little bit. He still thinks they're going to run the ball, and I don't think that's going to be much of a highlight of them. I think they're going to keep teams honest with that. But if you look at last year's game against Indianapolis, kind of the way their team has been shaped offensively coming off that game. Get rid of Leonard Fournette. He didn't play in that game. Put the ball in Gardner Minshew's hands. I think that's what we're going to see. Out of the shotgun, get rid of the ball. Well, that doesn't really create an 18 to 20, 22 carry day for a running back. I don't think they're going to put that on him and just go run in between the tackles and pound it. I just don't get that's the sense. And maybe I've just imagined it to be this way, and it's not reality. We'll find out on Sunday. I mean, I think you're looking at a day where if he has 12 carries and just, it might be a 50 to 60-yard day, it might actually be enough to be successful. That doesn't sound like much, I understand. But even just think of what I just said. If you go 12 carries and your 50 to 60-yard day, that's 4.5, 5 yards a touch. I mean, that would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. And does he do anything out of the backfield? Jay Gruden mentioned his hands. So I think you're going to see some Chris Thompson. I think you might even see Laviska Shenault back there. I think they're going to try some fun things. They're going to have some wrinkles. But I think you're going to see Gardner throwing it around and kind of utilize what the Patriots have done for a long time. And that is use the short passing game as part of the run game. And I think that's what we'll see with the screen passes and with the quick outs and get the ball in the playmakers' hands and more of the veterans' hands that you have. So that's my idea of what the Jags' game plan will be coming up on Sunday. And that does not mean fantasy fun for your team if you have James Robinson. Like, it's not going to be 18 carries, 120 yards, and 2 scores. It just, I don't sense that's going to be it, even if you had wishful thinking. I don't even think that's going to be their attempt at it. I think it's going to be about 10 to 12 carries, and I think 50 to 60 yards. And if you get in the end zone, great. You might catch a couple out of the backfield, 2 or 3 catches for 25, 30 yards. At the end of the day, you might be close to 100 yards, but it will be with rushing and receiving. And that would be a good game. I understand that. That'd be a good game, but that's what Steven asked. What kind of stats would you be like, hey, this guy's going to be part of this offense, and I like it. I think that will be it. If he could have a highlight play to show off, what the book on James Robinson is that don't bring one guy to tackle him. He'll shed that guy, Let's see it. Let's see it. He's not going to run away from people, but he can be elusive, he can be quick, and he's strong. And so let's see him pile up some yards, break some tackles, and make a play or two that either gets a first down in a big spot, maybe it's scoring a touchdown. I think those are reasonable expectations. And by the way, that would be good. That would not be a bad game. 12 for 50 to 60 yards, a couple catches, maybe a score. The Jags would sign up for that right now, I believe. But they are going to share the rock, in my opinion. It won't be one guy, the focal point, like it's been the last few years. I think that's the big change here in Jacksonville. We're going to take a break. When we come back, final thought or two on the game coming up Sunday. Fellow high school football coming up as well tonight. 9 o'clock, scoreboard show. It's the Blitz scoreboard show. We debut it. Then we have the Friday Night Blitz. So we'll take a peek at what's to come here on the first real big week of high school football in Jacksonville. And we'll put a bow on the show when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging out with us. Been a lot of fun all week long. And here we are. It is football time. And we're talking more about it when we come back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy, mild and scattered showers, even a rumble of thunder as we head through this evening. With most spots, see just a few showers. Overnight lows drop down to the mid-70s. A morning coastal shower for Saturday. They push inland with time through the day and into the afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s to near 90. With your first alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenwall.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands right now with Beard's unbeatable deals.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, just hearing those 3 words brings feelings of fear and anxiety. I'm Jonathan David, managing tax attorney at J. David Tax Law. Everyone knows that if you owe the IRS and don't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. The first step to resolution is our no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your specific tax problem step by step. We explain exactly what your options are and how we will resolve your tax issue. J. David Tax Law is a local firm right here in Jacksonville, where only an experienced tax attorney will represent you. Our fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. If you have tax problems, call us now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777, or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That's jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Nobody gives back like Diamonds Direct. That's right, it's back. Our most popular offer, 5 years, 0 interest financing. September is the time to buy at Diamonds Direct. Get the best price, plus spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And every purchase made in September will benefit No Kid Hungry's mission to end childhood hunger right here in our community. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years, and give at Diamonds Direct on approved credit. Visit diamondsdirect.com for details.
Nothing is certain except death and taxes. And your appliance is breaking down as soon as they're out of warranty. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we can't help with the first 2, but we've got the third one covered. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have been repairing appliances for more than 35 years, with a 90-day warranty on parts and labor and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For quality repair at a price that's fair, trust Atlantic Coast Appliance. AtlanticCoastAppliance.com. That's AtlanticCoastAppliance.com.
The First Coast is booming. With interest rates at historic lows, there has never been a better time to call Brandon Ponsel and his network of local experts at Jax Coastal Homes. You can visit them at jaxcoastalhomes.com or call them today at 904-206-9480 and mention ESPN 690 to receive up to $2,500 towards your closing cost. Need to sell? Powered by the unparalleled technology of EXP, Brandon will guarantee the sale of your home in under 60 days, or he'll sell it for free. The First Coast market is on the move. Are you?
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smile and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment time warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Hi, I'm Hunt Hawkins, CEO of Steinmart and chair of the 2020 First Coast Heart Walk. The 2020 Heart Walk is going virtual, and while we might not be able to meet in person, we still need you to support the American Heart Association's mission of being a force for a world of longer, healthier lives. Register and start a fundraising team today at firstcoastheartwalk.org, and then make plans to join us on Saturday, September 12th to Heart Walk where you are. Let's make a difference in the fight against heart disease and stroke. Register today at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Locally sponsored by Steinmart, Florida Blue, and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There's a new modern patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
When you shop the 904, you're helping local businesses right here on the First Coast. Most of the money stays right here in our community. Plus, local businesses give our community its uniqueness and character that makes living on the First Coast so great.
Shop the 904!
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. Star Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by Star, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing Star Mobile from your mobile phone. That's Star Mobile.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Austin Lane.
And I'm going to regurgitate it to you. I'm like a mother bird right now, and I'm spewing it in your mouth.
Brent Martineau.
You got doves flying and mother birds all week.
I'm trying to baby bird you right now, man.
Yeah, well, this is why I tease stuff and don't get to it.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll into the weekend. A little football action again. Florida State tomorrow, 3:30 against Georgia Tech, right here on ESPN 690, your new home for Knowles football and basketball. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau here to finish up a show for now, and then we'll be back at 9 o'clock for our first ever Blitz Scoreboard show. We'll have that for you right here on ESPN 690, and then, of course, just like this show, on all the video platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. You can stream it on ESPN690.com as well. And we're going to have a little video in that show, too. We're going to try to take you to the end of games. So we're going to play with this a little bit. It'll evolve, so be patient with us. But if you want scores and updates from around the high school area, and you want updates from our guys and gals on the road, make sure you listen tonight, ESPN 690, as you're driving around or coming back. Or if you can't be, go on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and you can watch from home because we know the crowds are limited, even at the high school games, for the most part. So make sure to check out the new show tonight. And then, of course, we have the Friday Night Blitz. We'll have Stuart Weber jumping in just a couple of minutes, talk about some of the big games in the high school area, because there are some big games in the high school area coming up tonight, which is really the full slate, the first week of the full slate of games here in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia as well. I do want to give a special shout-out and thank you to everybody involved with our Action Sports Jax Stream 18. It will be on Monday. Thanks to Cadillac, once again, our title sponsor. Law offices of Ron Scholes, Jacksonville Giants, Best Bet, Florida, Georgia, Windows and Doors, as well as they have been loyal sponsors of ours, along with so many other folks as we raise money for St. Michael's Soldiers, which is obviously a very special charity here in the area. It's a grassroots charity, helps military families and first responders. And, of course, we think about those folks all the time, but especially here on a day that we remember and never forget, 9/11, 19 years ago today. So St. Michael's Soldiers, one of our charities, along with North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. And we have so many citizens involved. One of the things, Olivia Tassley's really worked with me on here and try to help some of the local businesses make a comeback from COVID-19. So we'll have Big Fish Yoga out there, Brewhound Dog Park and Bar, Pet Want, Star Nutrition, the Mini Bar providing breakfast, Mambo's, Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, Mr. Chubby's Wings, Front Porch Kettle Corn, Moe's, Metro Diner, and more like Vita de Louis and others. So we are grateful for all the support. Smoothie King as well. I'm going to keep, I could name them for days. But again, thanks to Baker's Sports and Dome Hats. They provide a lot of our tea gifts that we give away. CGC Water. You hear them all the time right here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 Connecticut. They are providing our water for the event. And Budweiser, the official beer sponsor of our Action Sports Jax Dream 18. So hopefully we got them all in. We're going to have a big day on Monday. Looking forward to it. Raise some money for local charities, and we're sold out at the event. So we appreciate everybody's support of the Action Sports Jax Stream 18. One more, if you don't mind me, I'm going to share with you that if you go to the Action Sports Jax Stream 18 page, that's what it is, actionsportsjaxstream18.com. And if you look under Event Day Contests, there's a silent auction we have going on. You can bid on them. You don't have to be playing on Monday, but you can bid on the items. And we will also have players bidding on the items on Monday. We'll close it out Monday at noon. But if you email us your bids, we'll get you involved in the silent auction. We have some really cool items, including a trip to Stream Song Resort. We just got a party at Top Golf donated, so you can bid on that. Josh Allen signed football. We have electric guitar signed by Johnny Van Zant, Leonard Skinner, of course, Van Zant 38 Special. So we have some really cool items that you can bid on, and we're getting more as we go along. And so we'll continue to add to it, because on Monday, Palm Beach Autographs will be out there at the Action Sports Jax Stream 18, and they're bringing some cool memorabilia as well. But check out actionsportsjaxstream18.com. You can make a bid, be a part of it if you can't play golf on Monday, now that, of course, the event is sold out. And hopefully you can join us next year when we can have the field a little bit bigger. We had to limit the field a bit because of COVID-19 protocols. So we'll be at Golf Club at Southampton coming up Monday. Once again, our friends at Southampton really take care of us, help us out, and raise some money for charity. So we appreciate their hospitality. Thanks for letting me get that in, but we put a lot of work into it. We have a lot of fun with it, and so thanks for being patient with that, but thanks for everybody who supports the Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Now on year number 11, believe it or not. 6th year we've done the tournament, but the concept has been in play since 2010. Actually was our first year, so it's our 11th time with the Dream 18. All right, let's bring in Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber right now. I think he's at Baldwin to start his night off. And we're talking a little high school football. We got our Blitz scoreboard show coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. We got the Friday Night Blitz coming up in earnest later tonight on the TV side. Where are you at, and what a night for football, hopefully weather-wise, but I know game-wise, some dandies.
Yeah, you could. I am actually at Baldwin, just pulled in now, and the skies are foreboding. I'm not a fan of these skies right now, and there's some very light drops happening at the moment. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. As is the case with high school football, who knows until till we really get this thing going. And, we'll see. But, Baldwin taking on West Side tonight, one of the many, many games we got going on. And actually here at Baldwin, they're getting set up for senior night, which is a very smart move. I'm seeing a lot of schools doing this. Hey, do senior night right off the bat, because who knows, right? It's 2020. Who in the heck knows what's going to happen? So that's kind of the approach that they're taking here at Baldwin.
Yeah, that's a good idea, and I've seen several schools doing that. I think West Nassau might be doing that too. I think I saw, but it is a smart move, and some people came up with that idea and concept even like a month ago. Said get your senior days in before everything could shut down. Although, Stuart, you were out last week, and we were out at games last week. We talked to high school folks. I don't get the feeling that things are shutting down. I don't think there's a worry about that. Now, we saw the scene at Baker County last week, and that kind of raised some eyebrows across the country, really. But don't you get the sense now that they've figured this out a little, most we're doing 30% capacity in some places, that we're going to have football?
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. And, places like Duval County are taking the appropriate steps to make this as safe as possible, I think is really the key thing. I mean, ASAP now has a new meaning. As safe as possible is kind of what we're going for here in Duval County with the social distancing and splitting everybody up on the field. You're going to have the band on one end. You're going to have media on another end, and all the people in the stands all split up. So certainly they're doing what they can to make sure that it happens, to make sure that, this season goes off without a hitch, and now we kind of wait and see what happens. But, yeah, I get that sense that we're going to be able to get this season rolling.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I guess I just have a confidence now that things seem like somewhat normal, with colleges starting to kick off, the NFL weekend going, and high school now has been doing this for a couple of weeks. So we'll see. You never know, especially this year, but we'll see. Hey, we've got some really, really good games, right? Trinity and Bowles is probably the game of the night. I think that Creekside-Bartram game could be interesting. Creekside is much better. They've been climbing the ladder a little bit. You got to wonder how much they've closed the gap between Bartram Trail down there in St. Johns County, but those two are big ones, and they're not the only two big ones, but those are big ones.
Yeah, no doubt, and I really like that we're getting a bunch of these rivalry games here in week one. Like you said, the battle for Longleaf Pine, Creekside and Bartram, which we're now on opposite ends of, Martin.
Yes, we are.
We're on opposite sides of the rivalry. Come on.
Yeah.
Go Bears. So, jokingly, of course, I love both teams equally.
I know.
Yeah, we got some great games. Yeah, that's right. Mandarin Atlantic Coast is another cool one. Heck, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Fletcher Parker, but I think that's going to be a really good game out at the beach. Two teams that could certainly make some noise once they get to that part of the postseason. Everyone's making the postseason, right? So certainly some great games to keep an eye on tonight, and we'll certainly have all of them tonight on the Friday Night Blitz.
All right, man, get running. Stuart heads up our coverage, does a great job, and he'll be live at 6:50 on Fox 30 from Baldwin High School. So we'll see you on TV tonight. Then on the Blitz, Stuart will be co-hosting the Blitz with me tonight, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:20 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Thanks, Weber.
You got it.
All right, that's Stuart Weber, and they're getting ready to play some ball at Baldwin. Remember now, Duval County, 6 o'clock starts. In fact, I am getting out of here right in about 10 minutes, and I'm heading over to Stanton, Providence. And then I've got Bishop Kenny tonight. And then again, we'll come back, and we'll have the scoreboard show for you coming up at 9 o'clock. Hey, did you see this? Actually, Ty sent me this. Sometimes he does my homework for me. Ty texted me, and he got an alert because he likes the Rays, so he gets alerts from the Tampa Bay Rays. And apparently tonight in the baseball game, they are starting all lefties in their lineup against a right-handed pitcher. And I think if I read it right, it's the first time it's happened since 1901 that the entire lineup will bat from the left side, which is a little stunning, but it does sound kind of crazy to have all lefties. And here's the interesting thing about that. If a right-handed pitcher starts, the way the game is now, if you bring a reliever in, he has to face 3 guys before you can put the next guy in. So if you're going to bring a lefty in, you can't bring him in just to get like one batter. You got to bring him in to get 3. Well, then you can start pinch hitting and put your right-handed hitters in if you're the Rays. Be interesting to see. The Rays really believe in the analytics part, and they do some things with shifts and everything else. And you know what? Whatever they're doing is working. They have a somewhat no-name team they have some players that you know. But overall, it's not a household team. It's the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And they've had injuries, and they're still in first place in the AL East. But that is fascinating. All 9 hitters in the lineup will be left-handed tonight's game for the Tampa Bay Rays. So found that pretty interesting. All right, let's end it with a Jags thought, NFL thought or two. I really do think, I'm not just saying that I think the Jags are going to win just for the heck of it. I don't say it on a confidence now because I don't know what to expect. But I have told you that I think the Jaguars are better than people think they are, and I've said that for months. Now, when I say people think they are, a lot of people outside of Jacksonville just think this is a tank for Trevor and they're going to have the number 1 pick, and Washington might not be good either, and Carolina might struggle a little bit in the Jags. But the Jags, if you look at every poll around the country, if you look at power polls and playoff chances and all this stuff, the Jaguars are dead last. I mean, they're not considered to be very good, and in some respects, not even competitive. So I think they have a better roster than people think. The young narrative is a proper narrative if you look at their entire 53-man roster. But if you really look at their first-team guys, they have plenty of players with experience. And especially on that offensive side that you can buy into. Their whole line is coming back. DJ Chark, a Pro Bowler. Gardner Minshew has done some good things in the NFL in his rookie year and should be better. Chris Thompson has done some good things in the NFL. Chris Conley coming off a career year. And then they add some pieces around that. And Tyler Eifert, by the way, is back and hopefully stays healthy. So there are more reasons to, I think, like the Jags more than the outside world likes them. The national folks like them. I don't love them. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not put my house on this bet this weekend. But I really think this is a game that, for some reason, the Jaguars, even when they stink, they do well against the Colts. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they're so bad against Tennessee, but it happens. And so I kind of like the Jags to surprise people in general this weekend, and I like them to surprise the Colts. I think they're going to have more in their bags of tricks than people are anticipating. I think they're going to look a little different. I think Jay Gruden and Doug Marrone have said, let's go get these guys and let's attack and let's have some fun with this offense. And I think that's the way they're going to play. I feel like they'll play a little loose because they really don't have much to lose in terms of players and team, in terms of expectations. I think their defense will play halfway decent against the run. I don't think they're going to be dynamic defensively. I really don't. But I think what they've done attention-wise to that defense to stop the run, I think that will pay off a little bit. I'm concerned about them in the passing game, actually more so than the running game. The passing attack of the Colts, I think, could cause the Jaguars secondary some problems because it's Phillip Rivers and because I think the Jaguars secondary has some issues, youth being a big part of it. So it's going to be really fun to watch Sunday's game, and I hope it's fun. Gosh, man. Kuz, I've put myself out on the line a lot of times for the Jags. From quarterbacks to the teams to the coaches to GMs. And again, I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to go to the playoffs and win the division. I don't feel that way. I think they've got problems. I think they're going to be 6-10. But I do think this is a game that they can win. I really do. I don't think this is about just covering. I think this is going to be a pretty good football game, and I think they can win this game on Sunday. I genuinely believe that without putting a lot of money on it. I genuinely believe that they can win this game. I don't think they'll win next week in Tennessee, so they better get one. If they're going to get one of the two, I think this is the one to get. Man, Kuz, if they are like down 20-3 in the second quarter, I might be in a bad mood.
Well, I was going to ask, like, how long do you think it takes for, Jags fans are just excited for football to be back. But if it's a bad game, how long does it take for them to turn it right off?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We talk about this quite a bit, but I think it's a real thing. This tidal wave of negativity in this town around this franchise. It's hard to ignore. It's easy to get swept up in, and something's got to turn it around. And I tell you, if they're down couple of scores early or 20-3 at halftime and they lose by 3 touchdowns, it just starts to mount. I think it's a big game, and I don't know how many believers there are in town anyway. And when I say believers just to get to like 500, that's a hardcore believer getting to 500 probably with this football team. But you hope you don't turn those folks away early, you know? Give them a little something. Like, get to the bye with 2 or 3 wins and say, okay, that's at least they're not 0-6 or 1-5 and not getting blown out. You can see a little hope.
What if they lose by, like, I don't know, say it's a touchdown, but it's a high-scoring game?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think there are things that could be accomplished in a loss Sunday. I really do. Listen, Indianapolis is the better team, man. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. They're the better team. But they're not like the Chiefs in terms of dominant team. Not a lot to figure out still along the way, and I think the Colts will later on in the year and get rolling. But, I exactly what you just said, Kuz, I think is a great point. Like, if they lose 34-31, I know there's like moral victories aren't a good thing and all this stuff, but I think the fact that they were fun and put up 31 points, they competed, they hung in there, they probably had a chance to win, would be a heck of a sign for this football team. Like, I do think that's actually okay. That sounds awful to say because it's all about wins and losses in the NFL, but I actually think you leave the game. It's kind of like that Carolina game last year where you left, they lost, but it's like, you know what? That was an NFL game. Sometimes you lose games like that.
What if it was like, like that, but they didn't really have a chance to score at the end, or they did something dumb that let you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you could easily see them being up and then Phillip Rivers marches them down to win the game.
Yeah.
But that would be Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis against your defense, which is probably the worst part of your team. That makes sense, right? That's an NFL game. That happens. So I would be okay with it. I'd feel better. Just don't get blown out. Please don't get blown out, Jaguars. And give us something to talk about Monday. Hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy all the football. Should be a lot of fun. We've got everything lined up for you here on ESPN 690 tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30. I feel like I've teased every show 50 times. You know where to find us. Right here on your radio dial, on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it all. And we will see you on TV. And back here at 9 o'clock for the Blitz Scoreboard Show.
Appliances may work on your schedule, but they quit on theirs. At Atlantic Coast Appliance, we'll get your appliances back up and running in no time at all. Our factory-trained and certified technicians have repaired more than 100,000 appliances over the past 35 years,